Coachella Valley. That's where Golden Boy Promotions is at tonight, the last Friday in September. Another exciting fight card coming your way at the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. It's going to work towards the main event of Michael Perez and Peter Petrov, an eliminator. A lot on the line tonight. Special event center at the Fantasy Springs, a home away from home for Golden Boy Promotions. That's coming up next on Ring TV. It was only about 100 degrees in late September at Coachella Valley. It's hot outside. It's going to be hot inside as Golden Boy Promotions bringing you the stars of tomorrow. Tonight, we are inside the special event center. Usually there's concerts here, different kind of acts, but every single time that Golden Boy comes to the Coachella Valley, you get some fireworks every single time. Bethel Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim working towards the main event of Michael Perez and Peter Petrov, which a lot is on the line. It's an eliminator, and before we get into all that, we have the fighters in the undercard, the stars of tomorrow. But right now, we have a fighter. There you see, Basti Samir from Ghana, now in Las Vegas, 30 years old, perfect 14-0. He takes on Ade Shabazz, who's 6-1. A very interesting one, Doug. You and I were talking about this. Normally a fight like this will be later on in the night, but they're going straight to the big boys.
Right, because this is a very competitive and interesting matchup on paper. Basti Samir, he's the Olympian. He was the highly touted prospect some years ago, but he's been inactive for 3 years, so he's a bit of a question mark. And meanwhile, his opponent, Ade Shabazz, is a very capable boxer, was a good amateur, spent some time in the World Series of Boxing League for a while, and he's tall and rangy and a very good athlete.
Hey, Basti Samir, 2008 Olympian out of Ghana. And our ring announcer, Pablo, is ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another night of prize fighting boxing, presented by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions in association with Cerveza Tecate Born Bold. And it's all happening here at the Fantasy Springs Resort Casino in Indio, California, USA. This bout is set for 6 rounds of boxing in the super middleweight division. And it's sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Commissioner John Carvelli, Executive Officer Andy Foster, your supervisor in attendance, Mike Riley, physician in ringside, Doctors Jeff Roberts and Pearl Hicks, timekeeper Mike Millsap, your 3 judges scoring, sus 3 jueces, Tony Krebs, Fernando Villarreal, and Zachary Young, and your 3rd man inside of the ring, Rudy Barragan. Introducing to you first, the fighter standing at the blue corner wearing multicolored trunks. His official weight, 166.4 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina Tecate Azul, vistiendo calzoncillo color multicolor con un peso de 166.4 libras. Professionally, he stands with 6 victories, 1 low defeat, and 6 of those victories coming by the way of knockout. Representing Frankfurt, Germany, Sijola Ade Shabazz. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing black trunks with white and silver trim. His official weight, 167 pounds. Y su oponente, peleando en la esquina Tecate Roja, vistiendo calzoncillo negro con blanco y gris, con un peso de 167 libras. As a professional, he stands undefeated with 14 victories, 1 draw, and all of his victories coming by the way of knockout. From Las Vegas, Nevada, Basti Samir.
Seconds, fighters. All right, guys, you both already received your instructions. Do me a favor, obey my commands at all times and protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Come off fighting up the bell. Good luck to you both.
Rudy Barragan, referee in the ring. This was scheduled for 6 rounds in the super middleweight division. As always, use the hashtag RingTV, and we will get to your tweets. Send it to us all night long. Let us know wherever you're watching throughout Southern California, the United States, or overseas. Look at the tail of the tape for this one, Dougie.
Yeah, Basti Samir is just 1 year younger at age 30. And Ade Shabazz, he's 3 inches taller at 6 foot tall, and he has a significant reach advantage. We'll see if he can put that to good use.
Basti Samir, 30 years old, 14-0, 1 draw, 14 KOs. He's in the white and black. Born in Accra, Ghana. His opponent, Fijula Ade Shabazz, born in Frankfurt, Germany. Moved to the United States as a youth. Grew up in New Mexico. Now lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Valley resident. It's hit with the right hand. Good strong right by Samir to open it up. Basti Samir, last time he was in the ring, 2014. Split decision over Isaac Cardona. Why the layoff? Visa problems. His visa expired in the United States, was forced to go back to Ghana. They're training in Ghana. He had 1 fight there that was not recognized by any sanctioning bodies. He said, I just wanted to hit somebody. And he's doing that. He worked out the visa problems back in the United States.
Accra, Ghana, that is best known for being the home of such pugilists as Nelson and Ike Bazooka Cortez. A very, very traditional boxing hotspot in Africa.
Wasn't there a fight recently? Comrie, right?
Richard Comey.
Richard
Comey,
Comey, yeah. And some years before that, there was a welterweight title holder named Joshua Clottey.
Clottey, that's another one you mentioned it.
It's a rich boxing tradition that comes out of Accra. And Samir is he's taking his time, and he has timing. It doesn't look like there's a lot of ring rust on him. And I like that he's taking his time, because that was one of my chief criticisms about him out of the 2008 Olympics, is that he was always in a hurry. He was in there and he was impetuous. And although he was fast, powerful, and explosive, he was also reckless.
Yeah, there was that old John Woodenism, be quick but don't be in a hurry, and that certainly described his early style. Here I think he's doing a nice job of actually closing the distance, and you see an overhand right. I think Shabazz needs to do a better job of utilizing his height and his reach and at least putting out more than just a token jab.
Body work by Samir. Shabazz in the green, yellow, and red. 6-1. He said his only loss, the fight he took on a couple days' notice, went up, wasn't prepared for it. Now he's being more selective on when they call him 2 days beforehand to jump on into the ring.
And Beto, Shabazz himself has been inactive. His last bout was October of 2014, so there might be ring rust on both sides. It seems to me early on the physical strength of Samir is really telling early on.
Now, he sent a message with that lead right hand that he landed shortly after the opening bell. And I think Shabazz needs to get his confidence going. But I think it starts with his jab, a nice hard jab. He's got to get some respect.
Bigger shots landed by Samir here.
Oh,
opening
good
round,
right hand.
Up against the ropes, going to get counted as a knockdown as Shabazz gets caught with the overhand right. There you see the trainer of...
That's Kenny Adams, a Hall of Fame worthy veteran trainer.
Yeah, went into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, and that'll do it for the first round. It goes down as a 10-8.
My goodness, great first round right there. Want to remind the fans that at 6 p.m. right here inside of Fantasy Spring Casino, right over the Tecate Born Bull Bar area, get your Sharpies and cameras ready to meet Iran the Blade Barkley. Get a photo with the man who held world titles in the middleweight, super middleweight, and lightweight, heavyweight division. It's going down right here at 6 p.m. Iran the Blade Barkley, former middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight world champion.
Let's see how Samir scored this knockdown. Swarming him right now, upstairs and downstairs. Nice right to the chest, left hook to the head, and a clipping right. It was a right to the forehead that sent Shabazz reeling into the ropes, which was a technical knockdown because those ropes were the only thing holding him up.
Yeah, and that was a Tim Witherspoon-esque overhand right, and I thought from the very onset, Shabazz simply did not do a good job of establishing his distance, and that overhand right has been there from the very beginning for Basti Samir.
Second round scheduled for 6. Once again, use the hashtag RingTV. We'll check it out all throughout the night. Basti Samir, nickname Dubia. So he has a new nickname, Son of Man. Started boxing at the age of 9, along with his brother Esau. Esau was also a 2008 Olympian in Beijing. Overhand right from Samir coming out right away.
Shabazz does not have a defense for that overhand right. It gets over his left every time. He needs to get the left going.
Attacking is Samir in the black and white. Juice, as they call him, Shabazz backpedaling here in the second round.
This is not his style. It is not his style to stick and move like this and backpedal. He is usually a busy and aggressive boxer. He boxes tall from the distance, but he likes to come forward, not able to do so against Samir.
Ade Shabazz was a member of the World Series of Boxing, where it was technically amateurs, but they were fighting pro style with the LA Matadors, trained with Manny Robles. He was sparring with Slava Shabransky, the Golden Boy fighter. That was his main sparring partner. And here he is against Basti Samir getting work here early on in the fight.
Very different statures, and Shabransky's somebody who's his height, actually taller and just as rangy. Samir is a compact, a short, stocky fighter, but knows how to fight that way. He's able to be effective on the outside, despite being the shorter man with the shorter arms.
Shabazz may have found something, though. He's starting to be sneaky with that left hook in between some of the attacks of Samir. And now he's starting to establish a little bit more distance. Early on, I think that left hook in round number 2 has made Samir think about just going in unimpeded.
There have been some sneaky right hands from Shabazz as well in this round, and he needs to land those punches because he needs to get his own confidence and he needs to earn some respect.
Two fighters in the ring for the first time in a couple of years, maybe just shaking off that little bit of rust. Feel each other out here. Shabazz, Arizona, trained by Rick Ponce. Shabazz's father, black belt, martial arts, strict Nigerian dad is Shabazz. Mom, Sicilian. That's why the Sicilian flag's on one side. Ghana, Nigerian on the other side.
Man of the world, and he was born in Germany.
Yes, sir. Shabazz has a karate background. Started boxing at the age of 17. Fell in love with it as he met Austin Trout in New Mexico.
Shabazz's corner believes that their man has found something here in the final minute of round number 2, and he is having his moments. I think he is causing Samir to second-guess himself a little bit.
Good round between Samir and Shabazz. Opening bout on Ring TV in Indio, California. Main event tonight, Michael the Artist Perez, Newark, New Jersey, Puerto Rican, walking in to the Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. He takes on Peter Petrov, an eliminator in the WBA lightweight division. What does that mean, Steve Kim, eliminator in the WBA?
Well, it's very simple. The winner of this becomes, in essence, the mandatory, but there is a time frame to adhere to. Jorge Linares beat Anthony Corolla last week in a good fight. There was a rematch clause. Most likely that fight will happen sometime in February or March of 2017. According to Robert Diaz, Golden Boy head matchmaker, the right hand injury of Jorge Linares will keep him out of the gym 4 to 6 weeks. I believe that rematch will happen sometime in the spring, and the winner gets dibs on the rematch victor.
Third round of action. First fight scheduled for 6 rounds. There's 7 fights total on the schedule tonight. Bethel Duran, Steve Kim, and Doug Fisher. Opening round, Shabazz went down. It was held up by the ropes. Rudy Barragan, the referee, counted it as a knockdown. Basti Samir in the black and white.
Doug, I do think in the last minute or so of round number 2, there was a not so subtle momentum shift. I thought Shabazz started to find his sea legs a little bit and began to time the attacks of Samir. Samir's just rushing in there unimpeded without the jab. A lot of lead right hands and lead left hooks. That, I think they need to do it. If I'm Kenny Adams, I tell Basti, get your distance, close the distance by working behind a jab and doubling up behind it and getting a little bit lower.
Basti Samir living in Las Vegas. All City Athletics is where they're training at. He in the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame with Kenny Adams. Samir, at one point in his career, served as a sparring partner for Floyd Mayweather.
That might have been before the Miguel Cotto fight.
Thanks to Cynthia at UCLA watching this fight. waiting out the 405 traffic, why not? We got 7 fights for you tonight. Don't need to sit in traffic on a Friday. We got Steve,
but
Doug,
please,
and
keep your eye on the road. Safety first here.
good left hook from Basti Samir.
Samir has certain moves that he does in there where it's instinctual, it's reflexive. You know, one fighter throws something and he has an automatic counter for it, and that speaks to the amateur experience that he had and the young age that he started boxing. He started boxing at 8. Shabazz started boxing at 17. Shabazz, you can tell he's thinking in there all the time. Everything he does, it's calculated, and he has to sort of make himself do it. Samir, at times, acts instinctively, and he's very dangerous when he does.
He does, but Doug, one thing, looking at the body language of Samir, he is now laboring just a little bit. I think cardiovascularly, he is struggling just a tad, and he gets himself very upright in mid-range, and this is when Shabazz is able to really land clean punches. One thing, if you're going to be small, you have to make yourself small even on the inside as you're charging in. Samir leaves himself just a little bit too tall, even at that size.
I agree. He's only 5'8", 5'9", but it would suit him to, when he gets close, fight out of a crouch.
Yeah.
Bob and weave, get under some punches.
And that's one thing trainers will tell you. When you're inside, no matter what your stature, they'll always tell you,
bend your knees.
Yeah, make yourself small. And in essence, that is what they're telling you. Bend your knees and get down at the waist a little bit.
And you get more leverage on your shots when you do that.
Good action between Basti Samir and Ade Shabazz. Opening bout on the Golden Boy Promotions card in Indio, California.
I'm gonna stop the fight. You understand me? You don't. Do you want to fight or you don't? You just here for the ride. You act like you're here for the fucking ride. You got a jab, you start hitting with the hook, drive your punches. We done throw combinations this year. Why in the hell can't you throw them now? Explain to me why you can't throw them now. You don't know why.
Take it down.
Let's look at some action from a competitive round 3. That's a nice counter left hook from Samir. And Samir scoring with an overhand right. That's been his choice punch so far during the fight. But Shabazz definitely had his moments in round 3.
3 rounds in the books. You guys keep a score here?
I've got all 3 rounds for Basti Samir, plus a 10-8 round in the opening frame. However, rounds 2 and 3 were competitive.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Doug, I actually flipped round 2 for Shabazz. I have a 29-27 Samir. Let's see if there could be a late rally here from Shabazz.
I tell you what, his trainer, Kenny Adams, he sees it as a tight fight, and he's already cracking the whip with Samir saying, hey, man, do you want to fight or not? Are you here for the ride? Let's get going.
Kenny Adams has a storied career. He was actually a prolific amateur coach, and I think he was one of the head coaches in 1988. Was a very good
yes,
U.S.
he was.
Olympic
He was the head coach in '88, and he was assistant coach in 1984.
He is a no-nonsense disciplinarian. He is not a player's coach in that corner.
A taskmaster.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe Kenny Adams.
More of that. There's too many.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't disagree. A lot of yes men.
A lot of buddies in there.
Body work from Shabazz, the taller fighter. Juice is the nickname. You see it across his belt. Father of an 8-month-old girl, Zara. His wife in attendance. Rick Ponce is his trainer and father-in-law for Shabazz. Basti Samir, 14-0, 14 KOs, 1 draw. You can see it though, those heavy hands against some opponents who probably weren't prepared for that. Dropping them. Here, Shabazz is hanging tough with them.
Well, a lot of guys feel that power, and if it doesn't knock them out, it puts them in a defensive shell. It turns them immediately into survivors and not fighters. And to Shabazz's credit, he's still in there trying to win. He's still in there looking for openings and looking for opportunities to make Samir pay for some of these wide, wild shots.
You know, Basti Samir has a philosophy: swing hard, you might hit something.
He swung hard with that uppercut, missed, and got tagged with one.
I do think looking forward, if Samir's going to continue on and face better guys, you know, Doug, if you look at his stature, I don't know. He might be better suited off at 160 than 168.
If he can make
Yeah.
160, definitely, he should go down.
He's never fought at 160.
Yeah, that's the problem. I've always said losing weight is a lot easier when you have to do it rather than me. So that's the way it goes.
The lightest he's ever fought, Samir, 161 in 2011. He's got that thick build to him.
Yeah, he is. And his muscle is very dense as well. But I tell you what, if he's going to be a super middleweight, can't throw one shot at a time. He's going to have to work behind a jab, and he's going to have to put punches together whenever he's in range.
Final seconds of the 4th round. Keep the tweets coming to Ring TV. Good fight between Shabazz and Samir. And another good one's going to be hard to judge, but the main event, we already saw Michael Perez. Here's Elzar Peter Petrov. Born in Russia, grew up in Spain, now calls Southern California home. A very tough fighter, 37-4-2. And that's the main event later on tonight as he takes on Michael Perez.
Don't forget to hit us up on our social media device, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It's all lead to @GoldenBoyBoxing. @GoldenBoyBoxing. You're going to have a chance to win some great prizes tonight by following us @GoldenBoyBoxing. Hitting us with a selfie section, seat, row. Got autograph signed gloves. We got some goodies for y'all, so all you got to do is hit us.
Samir runs into a short left uppercut on his way in. Just misses with a wild swinging left hook.
Round 5, guys, round 5.
5th round of action. Basti Samir, black and white. Ade Shabazz, green and white, red, yellow. Good opening bout, 7 fights on the card. Fancy Springs Resort and Casino, filling in quickly. Have a couple fighters coming up, making their pro debuts from the Coachella Valley, and Javier Padilla and Luis Gordia. And Alexis Rocha, Genaro Gomez. Up next is Jonathan Thunder Navarro from East LA. Good matchup set up by Robert Diaz and Javier Raza, the matchmakers for Golden Boy. But right now, Basti Samir and Ade Shabazz are in a good one.
Yeah, I think Shabazz is doing very well so far in this round. It seems to me, Steve, that he has figured out the offensive patterns of Samir, and he's able to anticipate and protect himself a lot better in these rounds than he did in the opening 2.
Yeah, he seems much more comfortable laying out that jab, although, again, he's going to have pockets of problems when Samir's able to close the gap. But I also think Samir's pacing has slowed down just a little bit. Almost came out of there sprinting out of the block. And, again, we talk about the layoff of Samir. It's been about 2, 3, 4 years since he last fought. It's not necessarily a surprise. Stuff like that leaping left hook, I think that's going to be something Kenny Adams is really going to stress on not to do so often.
Shabazz looks like he's recovered from getting not knocked down, but he went up against the ropes. It was rolled and knocked down in the first, but it's been almost 2 years to the date that he's been in the ring, October 10th, 2014. And you mentioned Samir, Steve, last sanctioned fight on record, on a box rec, Fight Facts, 2013, almost 3 years on his record.
You know, I remember watching him in 2012 in London at the Olympics, just on TV. I actually thought he was a very good prospect, and I know, Doug, you called some of his fights from the Nokia Theater. I don't think he ever truly got comfortable making that transition from the amateur to the pros.
You see the power that he has with him, but Juice has been able to take it.
Yeah.
Keep using the Ring TV hashtag. Shout out to La Villita, Nochislan, Zacatecas, Mexico watching right now. Of course, San Fernando Valley CHP department. Can't say the names for there, but do appreciate it and thank you for working on Friday night. If somebody's watching this right now, we appreciate it. Basti Samir, Ade Shabazz. Stay with us all night long. Steve Kim's news and notes. The boxing calendar starting to fill up. And more action coming your way. The Fancy Springs Resort and Casino. Golden Boy Promotions on Ring TV. Season ticket holder for the LA Rams, Javier Razo, he had a very tough job this week as a couple fighters weren't able to fill their part of the contract. He had to find in some substitutes, able to do it. He, along with Robert Diaz, do a good job, make sure get the fight sanctioned, get the commission to go, and match him up well. There you go, Razo. And that's Ade Shabazz in the 6th round.
Lead right, just stopped short from Shabazz. Samir is working his way in, not landing all of his shots, but I think landing enough shots in the previous round to win. I scored round 5 for Shamir after scoring round 4 for Shabazz.
Sixth and final round. Juice's corner is telling them they need it big for Shabazz. Joshua Something watching the fight. Steve, thanks for watching. Corey Seager, Rookie of the Year, is watching with Steve Kim in Santa Ana, or Santana as the locals call it. And your fighter from Santa Ana or Santana, Alexis Rocha, coming up around 7 o'clock tonight Pacific time. And you hear that all day. That's how he says it. All day. Shabazz. Say it slow. You can't say it too fast. How do you guys have it after 5?
I got 4-1 for Samir. I scored round 4 for Shabazz. I think you can make an argument for Shabazz winning another round in there, but I think you got to have Samir ahead, particularly based on that 10-8 first round.
And Doug, it's funny you say that. I actually did give him another round. I gave him the 5th, but I have Basti Samir ahead by 2 with about 2 minutes to go, 48-46.
Basti Samir, Golden Boy Promotions fighter. They recently re-signed him. See how they're going to bring him along at the age of 30. Interesting where he's going to be in the weight division, right, Steve?
Well, as you pointed out, it looks like despite his stature, he's going to be at 68. You know, but listen, there's no monsters at 68 with guys like James DeGale and Badu Jack. But I do think there's a lot of work to be done here. Obviously, we know he's going to be a little bit rusty. He has a world-class trainer in Kenny Adams. But I think it's a lot of the little things he has to work on. If you take a look at right now what's going on, he's throwing a lot of slapping punches, and I think that's a product of fatigue. I do think working off the jab, sliding his feet underneath him a little bit better to get into position, because basically everybody he fights from this point forward is probably going to be a little bit taller than him. So him navigating through the mid-range, I think, is going to be a very key element of where he goes.
It'll help him if he learns to tuck that chin and not be so upright on his way in. Work on sort of a bob and weave move. Move his head, move his upper body, but make yourself shorter when you're in mid-range and when you're in close.
And Ade Shabazz, he's a tough one in there. Chick off the rust a couple rounds, starting to get a good lather, just only 6-round fight. An interesting fighter. You can definitely see him getting called for more fights.
Oh yeah, no, he can give a lot of guys that work. He can give people good work because he's durable. He doesn't give up. He's technically sound. He's very capable in there. It's a little bit tight, kind of a tight, little bit, I don't know, maybe mechanical is the word for it. Like I said, he had a late start to boxing, so he's not going to be the most fluid guy out there. But you can see he just landed a nice little hook there. He's there to fight, and he wants to win.
Final seconds of the fight between Basti Samir and Ade Shabazz. Our opening scrap is in the books. We'll be back with a decision. Golden Boy Boxing in Coachella Valley, Southern California on Ring TV. Judges, As our stage manager's about to trip over himself, relax. Don't hurt yourself, man. We got 6 more fights to go there, Luis, with a Chavez or Gonzalez with an S, whoever you are. Get yourself ready. We ready to go to the ring announcer? He's over there pointing. There you go. He's doing the job. Let's go to Pablo, the ring announcer, who has the card. There you see Basti Samir. Basti Samir, I'm pretty sure Ken Adams is going to take him back to the gym and let him know some choice words.
There's a lot of coaching to be done. This is a bit of a rush-shaking experience.
That's how I view it.
Yeah, you know,
Getting your feet wet again.
Vince Lombardi once said, fatigue makes cowards of us all. I think in boxing, fatigue breaks down fundamentals, and that's what we saw, which is to be expected. I think Samir's a strong, physical guy. How he changes or evolves his offensive approach, I think will be key.
Let's go to Pablo now.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Después de 6 rounds de combate, nos vamos con las tarjetas de los jueces. All 3 judges have scored the same. Los 3 jueces coinciden en sus tarjetas. 58 to 55, 58 a 55. Therefore, your winner by the way of unanimous decision, su ganador por la vía de la decisión unánime. And still undefeated, Basti Samir.
All right, Steve, you had the correct scorecard.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, as they're reading the scorecards, Kenny Adams is kind of gesturing to me, doesn't seem all that happy. And again, you said it, he's a taskmaster. He is not a friendly corner, he's not a sycophant. There's a lot of work to be done in the eyes of Kenny Adams.
That's okay. I mean, I think it's better that Golden Boy matched Samir in tough with a guy who's going to expose some flaws, who's going to give him an opportunity to knock off rust, as we see highlights from the bout. And it was a competitive bout, as your scorecard and the 3 official judges' scorecard showed. I think that's a lot better than getting somebody who's going to get knocked out in 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That doesn't do Samir any good. That just makes him think, hey, I can walk through anybody. Why improve? I'm seeing a lot of tweets from fans saying, hey, Samir was lucky that this was just scheduled for 6 rounds.
You know, basically after a 3-4 year layoff, I think basically a 6-rounder was appropriate.
So do I.
The one thing he's going to have to work on, I think his punching frame got very wide in the second half of the fight. Again, that might be fatigue. May not have had a lot left in the tank, but I do think he needs to sharpen and compact his punches moving forward.
Beto Duran, Steve Kim, and Doug Fisher. 1 fight in the book. 6 more to go. The next one's going to feature Jonathan Navarro against Farkhad Sharipov. And that's coming your way right now. They're moving them quick, Will. We're keeping up here on Ring TV. That gives us a chance. Keep sending your tweets using the hashtag Ring TV. Farkhad Sharipov, living in Florida, originally born in Kyrgyzstan. Been in Florida 10 years. Nicknamed the Crazy Russian. And there you see from the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy in Riverside, Jonathan Navarro. His dad right there behind him. Navarro, stablemate with Hector Tanahara, who had a good showing in Dallas, Texas on the Canelo show. But the man who stole the night on the undercard, Joshua Franco, the professor, with a monster knockout. He's watching in San Antonio. Congrats for your win, Joshua. And here you see some highlights of the last time the fighter Navarro was in the ring.
Yeah, this was at StubHub Center, and I believe it was on the undercard of the Francisco Vargas Orlando Salido show, and it was the first time Jonathan Navarro fought outside of Belasco Theater as a pro, and he gave the fans something to see. He was in with a very tough opponent from Texas, only had 1 loss, and he basically just broke the guy down with body shots before he switched his attention to the guy's head. Look at that beautiful uppercut on the inside. That's all she wrote. Oh, got him again on the way down. Jonathan Navarro does not mess around.
Yeah, that was a 2nd round KO over Mark Torres. That was early on in StubHub, and that was one where people were walking in like, oh, okay. Making some noise. Good stable that Robert Garcia has in Riverside. Also has a gym in Oxford, still has that. Robert saying, Steve, he has around 50 fighters that he's training in some capacity.
And I think this fight was scheduled a little bit earlier than usual given the fact that Robert Garcia is in the corner tonight of Michael Perez in our main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division, presented by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions in association with Cerveza Tecate Born Bold. 6 rounds de combate en la división de peso welter. Your 3 judges scoring this bout in ringside. Sus 3 jueces, Fernando Villarreal, Max DeLuca, and Zachary Young. And your 3rd man inside the ring, el tercero en la superficie, para medir las acciones, Tony Krebs. Entering into you first, the fighter standing in the blue corner wearing black trunks. His official weight, 140 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina Tecate Azul, vistiendo calzoncillo color negro, con un peso de 140 libras. Professionally, he stands with 4 victories against 8 losses and 1 victory coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 4 victorias, 8 derrotas y una victoria por la vía del knockout. Fighting out of Kissimmee, Florida, Farkhad Sharipov. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim. Official weight, 141 pounds. Y su oponente en la esquina Tecate Roja, vistiendo calzoncillo blanco con azul, con un peso de 141 libras. Professionally, he stands unblemished with 6 victories, and 5 of his victories coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord perfecto de 6 victorias y 5 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Representing East LA, California, damas y caballeros, Jonathan the Thunder Navarro.
Okay, fellas, punches here and up are good. Obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, go back to the corner. Good luck to both of you.
Tony Krebs, the 3rd man in the ring tonight with the instructions as we get ready to go. 6 rounds in the super lightweight division. 140 pounders going at it. Jonathan Thunder Navarro, 20 years old, 6-0, 5 KOs from East Los Angeles, California. His opponent, Farkhad Sharipov, 32 years old. Navarro, Doug, you know his entire family. You've seen him since he was basically a toddler in the gym. He comes from a fighting family in East LA.
Yeah, I was training with one of his uncles, Nacho Navarro, when he was born 20 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
And of course, he has other uncles. Jose Navarro was a top contender and a world title challenger at junior bantamweight, and Carlos Navarro was a junior bantamweight, featherweight, fringe contender, and an incredible U.S. amateur.
Farkhad Sharipov. And then you see the Navarro family looking on. You don't have to stream that with your phone. We got Ring TV for you, baby. And you'll get the replay tomorrow. Actually, later on tonight, the crack staff from Ring TV puts it up immediately. Go to the Golden Boy YouTube page to see archive fights of all of Navarro's 6 fights have been on Golden Boy. All of his fights have been at the Belasco, and one was at StubHub. This is the first time he's at Fantasy Springs. Had a lot of friends and family in attendance. His opponent, Farkhad Sharipov, 4-8, more of an MMA fighter, and he will switch southpaw to orthodox with ease. He is a fighter who came to the United States 10 years ago. Why? He said he looked on the map and Florida was nice. So that's how he ended up there. He's actually took this fight on Wednesday, last minute notice, because the original opponent for Navarro fell through. Razo found this guy, and I think you, Steve, tweeted about it, how they gave him a good matchup here.
Yeah, well, taking a look at this, pedestrian record, 4-8, lost 7 in a row, but it has to be noted, he's never been knocked out. For one thing he seems to be pretty crafty, switch hitting, and he seems to have durability. Some of the names on his resume, Kevin Watts, Raynell Williams, and Samaje Thomas. So he's been in there with some other prospects.
And he's pesky in there. He's a difficult opponent, in part because he's tough and he's game, but also, and Mario, you alluded to this, he's a switch hitter. He's got a very awkward but also mobile boxing style.
You said never been knocked out, nor has he ever hit the canvas. He's never been down. But the reason that pedestrian record, he uses boxing to stay in shape. He's an MMA fighter, a jiu-jitsu black belt, more of a wrestler. He actually has an opportunity to win a MMA belt in a different league, Titan FC. It's in Miami. October 30th is his main event. He's the main event fighter in that. He's using today, as he said, a chance to come out and spar and take advantage and work on my craft, the striking part. So he's here, he's in shape, he's ready to go. It's going to be an interesting night for Navarro.
Let him go.
As of now, my training camp is real good. We've been training really hard. I've been sparring with, Mike, Perez, getting ready. We both help each other out for this fight. I've been sparring with Rocha, Alexis. And other than that, I love the training camps there. It's real fun. Always something new happening. To me, this fight, it's really important to me because he's a 5-1 fighter. And that's his record. And, beating him will move me up more because he's a very tough opponent. I'm really trying to improve on my head movement. That's all I've been working on in sparrings. I'm always moving my head more, trying to be light on my feet because, I do see that, sometimes I am a little stiff and, I forget to move. But that's something I'm really improving on.
Jonathan Navarro, 20 years old, East LA, where he was born and grew up. Now lives in Riverside at the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. It's essentially a dorm that they have there with Navarro, Joshua Franco. You have Hector Tanahara, Michael Perez, the main event, also lives there. These guys didn't go to college. That's where they're going. They're learning to get away from home. They're growing up on their own. Robert Garcia restocked his young stable, and he mentioned the fighters he's sparring against. Some of the most elite spots. When you go up against Mikey Garcia and you're sparring, that can't be replicated.
That's a learning experience, and Navarro realizes that he's very much a work in progress. Obviously, he's just 20 years old, and he's trying to work on. He's trying to improve fight by fight, and wants to show us different aspects of his game, different aspects of what he's learning in the gym with each bout.
Navarro has 6 wins, 5 knockouts, so certainly early on he's shown some punching prowess. I get the sense early on this is going to be a bit of an experience for him. See how he can hold himself together fundamentally. This looks like a fight that's going to see the final bell. Sharapov has certainly perfected the art of survival. So let's see what Navarro can do in terms of staying fundamentally sound and being able to corral a very, very awkward opponent.
Also staying focused against somebody who can be frustrating. Because he's not just surviving, he's pesking in there. When you relax a little bit, that's when he tries to swat you with some punch from an odd angle.
And for young fighters, it's one thing when they say, okay, we're going to throw you up against the southpaw. That's how you prepare. This dude is switching after every single punch from southpaw to orthodox. That's got to be interesting. It's also going to see if he gets frustrated for Navarro. Thunder Navarro, you see across his belt, the nickname, yes, his favorite fighter, Arturo Thunder Gotti. The late, great Arturo Gotti. Referee Tony Krebs getting in there.
And Beto, there is a slight abrasion right around the left eye of Navarro. And I think, again, that's from some of the pesky work that's being done by Sharapov, who's very sneaky with his punches.
Sharapov said he's always been about the combat sports as a kid. Good body work landed by Navarro.
About Sharapov, I would certainly say that his attack is not paint by numbers. There's nothing really fundamental about it. It's not what you do textbook-wise. He just kind of makes it up as he goes along, and those can be the most difficult guys to look good against.
Can you learn anything from that, Steve?
Yes, learning how to adjust and adapt. This will be valuable experience. Will this be the type of fight for Navarro that he'll put on his highlight DVD? I don't think so, but listen, you learn more in fights like this than first-round blowouts.
This is where broadcasters earn their money. You got to come with a lot of information, and you got to keep your eyes on what's going on. Good shot landed by Sharapov. Final seconds of the second round. Scheduled for 6.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about 1 minute away from your live VIP meet and greet with Iran the Blade Barkley, former middleweight.
There you see the co-main tonight. Genaro Gomez from San Diego, also trained by Robert Garcia. He will be taking on Vernon Alston, a veteran out of North Carolina. Gomez going the more really high on this kid. Standout amateur. He's another one who's had fights come up, and all of a sudden the opponents just don't get on the plane. They don't show up.
He's intimidating. I mean, he's fought twice, but we haven't seen a collective 2 rounds from him yet. See if tonight's opponent can get out of the opening round.
Well, he's in the building, so that helps.
That does help.
Keep sending your tweet just like Mr. Boxing Guru is sending right now. Everybody out on Friday night. Veronica Villela in Monterey Park. Thank you for watching on your Roku. Third round scheduled for 6. Navarro in white and blue. Sharipov all black. Ran into him in the lobby today. Like, how do you say your name? He says Sharipov. So I'm trying my best.
Sharipov.
Speaks 4 different languages. English, Russian, and is native from Kyrgyzstan. He said there's another regional language that he speaks. Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia, along the Silk Road. Tian Shan Mountains surround it. Now calling Kissimmee, Florida. Spring training home for a lot of baseball teams home. Navarro swinging and missing with that uppercut. Robert Garcia, Navarro's trainer, has an interesting night. Not only does he have Navarro right now, but the co-feature is Genaro Gomez, who we saw. Then the main event is Michael Perez.
Yeah, he's busy tonight.
Robert saying that it's a team effort. His son, Pete, will be involved doing the mitts while he's out here working the corner. His father, Robert's father, is actually in attendance tonight. He's going to help
Eduardo.
out.
Yeah.
Big G's going to help out with the. Also, Mikey Garcia's back there, so it's a family affair helping everybody out.
Yeah, the family that really sparked boxing in Oxnard, California,
Robert,
2 or 3 decades ago. It started on the amateur level, and so many of these guys blossomed as pros. Robert Garcia and then Fernando Vargas, who was trained by his father.
How about this Robert schedule? I'm never complaining about driving. He lives in Riverside at a new facility, drives every morning to the 8:05, works those guys till about 11, 2-hour drive back to Riverside to work the fighters here around 1 o'clock, and keeps on going 5 days a week.
That's the work ethic that he got from his father. His father was, and he worked in the strawberry fields in Oxnard, and he would work all day and then train all night at La Colonia Boxing Club in Oxnard.
Yep.
And his dad cultivated a future world champion in his own son, Robert, but also a U.S. Olympian and 2-time junior middleweight champion, Fernando Vargas.
That's all being taught to Jonathan Navarro, the fighter in the white and blues. In with Farkas Sharipov. 10 seconds to go in the third round. It's scheduled for 6. Second bout of the night. Golden Boy Promotions on the road in Indio, California at the Fancy Springs Resort and Casino.
Fight fans, you want to save these dates? Mark these dates on your calendar for the real fight fans you do not want to miss. October 7th, Golden Boy Promotions at the Velasco Theater in downtown LA. November 4th, Golden Boy Promotions at the Velasco Theater in downtown LA. But on November 18th, right here at Fantasy Springs Casino, live on Estrella TV, Mauricio Maestro Herrera takes on Pablo Cesar Cano. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, we know Pablo Cesar Cano, Mauricio Herrera, they bring it. These are 2 fighters that are going to go to war right here inside of Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. So get your tickets before they sell out. Fantasy Springs Resort Casino box office. Herrera, Cano, here, November 18th, Fantasy Springs.
Sweet Child of Mine, DJ Ray with the tunes here at Indio, California. A favorite of Joel De La Hoya, manager, watching tonight. Joel, of course, loves the 80s. as Steve Kim does.
Oh, so do I.
As you found out at the gym this morning, huh? They play the 80s just for you, Kimster.
Oh, boy, when Buffalo Stance came on from Nana Cherry, boy, I hit that treadmill, I tell you. You know, this has to be a very frustrating experience for Navarro. You could almost see the gears grinding in his head, trying to find a way to hit this guy clean, and this guy simply does not allow himself to be a flat surface at any time with all the switch hitting he does, and he's very evasive, especially with his upper body.
Yeah, the upper body is moving all the time. His entire body is moving with his lateral movement. And as you said, the angles are always changed. There's never a flat surface. He's southpaw, he's orthodox, but he's always got his shoulder forward.
Navarro, 20 years old. 15 total pro rounds coming into this fight. Last 3 wins were by second round KO. Well, he's grinding it out tonight against Frank Sharipov, the crazy Russian with the nickname.
I see where he gets that nickname. He's
Yeah.
got a crazy style. And this is the definition of unorthodox.
Sharipov walking around. At the Fancy Springs, they have a lot of the displays of the fighters that have been here. And you see Oscar's face, or some of the other fighters have been headlined here at the Special Event Center. And he was just enjoying it, taking pictures of those guys. He's just a fight fan.
Speaking of which, the special guest of the venue this weekend was the Blade, Iran Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
Hard-hitting middleweight of the 80s and 90s. Always had the number of one Thomas Hitman Hearns.
Yep, shocked the world in his first fight with Tommy Hearns. I believe that was that 1988?
88 or 89.
89, yeah. Knocked him out in 3 rounds to earn the WBC middleweight title. And then some years later in the early 90s, they fought as light heavyweights. And he took Tommy Hearns' WBA light heavyweight title with the majority decision, I think.
Also involved in the fight of the year, I believe, in 88 or 89 against the great Roberto Duran in Atlantic City.
That's right, that was 89. That was Ring Magazine's fight of the year, and I could watch that fight every day for the rest of my life.
I actually did watch it every day because my brother recorded it on VHS, which is a tape which you kids will figure out. Just Google it. And it was on loop at home, and my brother showed it to me last night. That's the fight that just got me really into boxing. I was around 10 years old. I was like, wow, this is great.
That's a perfect fight to get into boxing because they had everything. They had the skill, the technique, and the heart and the guts.
I got to go find my way to
Both
fight
fighters.
the Blade.
Yeah.
I thought it was the only Barkley around was Charles Barkley. And I was like, no. Going to the 5th round, Navarro and Sharipov. Our main event tonight, Michael Perez, Peter Petrov, Eliminator. Who is Michael Perez? He's from Newark, New Jersey, Puerto Rican blood.
2008 National Golden Gloves lightweight champ. He was a good amateur, and he's a well-schooled pro.
And they're singing Las Mañanitas, which is the birthday song in Spanish to Ramiro, Golden Boy PR. It was his birthday a couple days ago.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Ramiro.
Gonzalez.
Former La Piñon rider, and here's some highlights from this fight.
And Navarro was able to close the gap a few times in this round. But Sharipov has limited his offense. He's not the two-fisted warrior we're used to seeing because of that strange style.
This is also, Sharipov found out on Tuesday that he had this fight. He said at one point in his career, everybody in the Florida area knows that he's always in shape because he just stays in the gym training. He got called earlier this year, the day of the weigh-in. How much do you weigh? Told him, good, get here. We will get you on the scale. He said he's just always in shape because
Beto,
he's always knows his role.
That is the life of an opponent. Have gloves, will travel. And basically, if you're within range of weight, they will change the contract.
Oh,
they
yeah?
will accommodate you. Because sometimes that A side, that young prospect, they want to get that fight on. They've sold tickets. They've trained for weeks on a time. Shows are dependent on the headliners coming through with fights. This is why guys like Sharipov are very, very valuable to the sport.
In all black, Jonathan Navarro from East LA. Navarro loves living in Riverside because Robert has horses out there. Navarro actually has his own quarter horse. He and his dad have. And he loves riding the horses. He said it's an escape. But, you know, when you grow up in East LA, the Boyle Heights area, everything's congested. It's tight. A chance to get out, figure out nature, see something.
Beto, there's not a lot of thoroughbreds running on Whittier Boulevard.
There's people running on Whittier.
That I can attest to.
The Phillies running around there.
Orale.
5th round, scheduled for 6. Navarro this is the kind of fight where some fighters, Steve, they're like, I don't remember fighting this. I don't remember this. But this is the one where he's going to remember.
No, he is. And one thing Navarro's going to learn, and one thing we've seen about him, he likes to step hard on that front foot and really load up on that left hook. I think this is a fight. He has to take some steam off of his punches, work in volume, and just work on touching this guy to set up his power punches. Because when he loads up on his punches, you see the elusiveness of Sharapov.
Keep those tweets coming. Use the hashtag RingTV. Linus, we know you're tweeting us. You tweet us every round. We do appreciate it.
Our security blanket from Philadelphia. Hail Villanova.
Exactly. Appreciate all that. Everybody in San Antonio still watching the Franco family. And Bam Rodriguez, good amateur, watching, 16-year-old, younger brother of the professor. Heard some news coming from Bam coming soon. Good right landed by Sharipov. At least I think it was a right. Moves so quick.
I know, it gets confusing.
Well, Linus
definitely confusing to poor Navarro.
Our guy Linus described him as a fighting amoeba. I wish I would have come up with that. That's exactly what he is.
Way smarter than me. Final seconds of the 5th round.
Oh!
The president of Golden Boy Promotions, Eric Gomez, on the right, newly appointed. And the man with the uppercut, great hair, 22 years old, Ramiro.
Viva Ramiro.
Director of PR for Golden Boy Promotions, former longtime scribe at the La Opinion. I don't know how you have birthdays as you get younger. That's it. When the president...
Everyone's got to get that birthday kiss from El Presidente.
Yeah.
You know what that is right there? That's job security.
Navarro trying to work a jab, runs right into it was a straight right from the crazy Russian.
Shout out to my main man, President Eric Gomez in the house.
And I don't know if that was enough to take the round.
No, I don't. But you know what, Doug? That's the frustrating part and the difficult part of fighting a guy like Sharapov. They do so much defense, but every once in a while, they'll actually throw a hard punch.
You can't fall asleep in there.
6th and final round, Jonathan Navarro, Frank Sharipov, East LA Navarro. He's undefeated. It's a slip. Navarro had a lot of friends and family in attendance. His dad's in his corner. Sharipov mentioned has that MMA fight October 30th in Miami. You have guys who, you know, you have a tune-up fight. But this is different. This is a tune-up fight in a different sport. Keep the tweets coming. Dougie Fisher, IE, Steve, UCN Live. Make sure you listen to Steve's podcast with Miguel Montoya.
The Montoya factor?
There it
No,
is.
some guy named Mario Lopez.
Lopez has been busy, so I didn't hear it this
He's always
week.
busy.
I didn't get, you guys didn't do the questions this week.
You know what? He has a very tight schedule. He literally had 25 minutes, and our show was 25 minutes.
You're just as busy.
You know what? He is.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but I call him Brown Mexican James Brown. He is the busiest man in showbiz.
Well, you can pass along a couple jobs to some other Mexicans around here. Talking about our production staff here. And make sure you check out Doug's mailbag. Another excellent mailbag on Friday and Monday. You've been getting some good emails, Doug. I really love the reaction to the Linares-Crolla fight this weekend.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. September was a terrific month for boxing, I think.
Linares and Crolla. Linares, congratulations to the Venezuelan fighter. He will now possibly take on the winner, Michael Perez and Peter Petrov.
Yep, that'll probably be later next year, the winner of tonight's main event. As Steve alluded to, there's a rematch clause with Crolla.
Oh.
He might go back to England. I mean, that's where the money is. That's where the crowds are. And I think Linares is very comfortable fighting on the road. And I definitely think his title victory September 24th was maybe the best performance of his career.
Jonathan Navarro in the white, very quiet, methodical thinker, gets the job done. He's not a fighter who's gonna be brash and talking loud and look at me. But here he is mixing it up well. The kid can crack at the age of 20.
Yeah, and he's feeling good that Sharapov was finally planting his feet and willing to get into exchanges. It got to feel good for him to land some heavy punches.
Just as I say Navarro doesn't talk, I see him say, come on. Feeling good. Sharapov takes a deep breath. Good final round for Navarro. 10 seconds to go in the fight. Good right landed by Navarro. That'll do it. They go 6 rounds. They hug. Sportsmanship between the two. Highlights from the fight in England over the weekend. There you see Roberto Diaz, Golden Boy matchmaker with them. Linares from Venezuela. Crolla. A lot of respect between these two fighters, and they went at it.
It was a beautiful match of styles. With Linares, you had the speed and fluid athleticism and just brilliant combinations. And with Crolla, you had the steady, smart pressure. Nice choice body shots in there. He was able to actually split Linares' guard with jabs and uppercuts, but it was Linares every round with those flashy body head combinations.
I don't think there's stylistically a beautiful lightweight or maybe fighter that exists in the world today. This was a nip and tuck fight. I got the sense that Linares had built an early lead, and Doug, it's interesting, coming into the championship rounds, Linares stepped on the gas pedal, and he needed to.
He did.
Because he was down on 2 of the 3 scorecards going into the 10th.
Absolutely. He needed to win rounds 11 and 12 to prevent a draw. Michael Perez, number 3 in the WBA, and he's fighting Peter Petrov in the main event tonight. Petrov's either number 1 or number 2 in the WBA, so 2 top WBA contenders. They get to fight Linares sometime next year, and it's not just the WBA title on the line, it's the Ring Magazine Lightweight Championship. Recognition as the best lightweight in the world.
Damas y caballeros, después de 6 rounds de combate, nos vamos con las tarjetas de los jueces. After 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges, Fernando Villarreal, Max DeLuca, and Zachary Young, have scored the same of 58 to 56. Los 3 jueces coinciden en tarjetas 58 a 56. Por lo tanto, su ganador por la vía de la decisión unánime. Your winner by the way of unanimous decision. East LA, California, Jonathan the Thunder Navarro.
Jonathan Thunder Navarro improves to 7-0, unanimous decision. He had to work for it. It wasn't easy. Learning moment for the 20-year-old.
No, there's that old saying, win tonight, look good tomorrow. And literally, if you go in there with Sharapov, that needs to be the mantra. You might win, but you're not going to look stylish doing so. But a valuable learning lesson, Doug, for that young man.
Yeah, and it was a competitive fight in the view of the official judges. Just a 2-point fight, 58 to 56. That means Navarro won 4 rounds. Sharapov won 2. So Sharapov was definitely in this fight. You see a nice little hook from Sharapov. Sharapov sticking, moving, pot-shotting. Navarro stalking methodically, patiently, trying to get it done on the inside, but he kept getting tied up by the expert grappler.
Navarro trained by Robert Garcia. So Garcia's 1-0 tonight. He has 2 more fighters on the card, including the main event, Michael Perez against Peter Petrov. 20-year-old Jonathan Navarro, East LA, making the family proud. He's now 7-0. Our next fight coming your way, super bantamweights. There he is out of Denver, Colorado, father of 2. Richard Morales being led by Cuñado in the red Golden Boy shirt. Everybody on the staff getting a shout out tonight if you get on the screen. And Javier Padilla is his opponent. Oh, there's a loud ovation.
Somebody sold some tickets.
Somebody sold over 300 tickets. And there he is, Javier Padilla. Indio, California, 21 years old. His manager with the smooth jacket, Joel Diaz. His trainer, hand on him, is Toño Diaz. Joel the trainer, Joel the manager, Toño the trainer, and there you see Javier Padilla. Padilla, over 300 tickets sold. That Tejana he's wearing, that hat, it actually belongs to his grandfather, Juan Padilla. He said he wanted to do something to honor the family, asked his grandfather, can I wear it? He's never worn a Tejana before. He said his grandfather told him, sure, put it on. The rest of the family members said, wait a minute, Grandpa never takes his Tejana off. Well, you make your pro debut, you get Grandpa's
Special
favorite.
occasion. Got to represent.
21 years old, Indio, California. Making his pro debut.
Gentlemen, let's get ready for 4 rounds of boxing in the super bantamweight division. 4 rounds de combate en la división de peso Super Gallo, presented by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions in association with Cerveza Tecate Born Bold. Your 3 judges scoring this bout in ringside. Sus 3 jueces, Alejandro Rochin, Fernando Villarreal, and Zachary Young. And your 3rd man inside the ring, el tercero en la superficie, Rudy Barragan. Introducing to you first the fighter standing in the blue corner, wearing silver and green, official weight 115 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina Tecate Azul, vistiendo calzoncillo color plata con verde, con un peso de 115 libras. Representando, hailing out of Denver, Colorado, USA, Richard Morales. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing white trunks with red trim. Official weight, 120 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, vistiendo calzoncillo color blanco con rojo, con un peso de 120 libras. And tonight, making his pro debut, haciendo su debut profesional, the hometown boy. From Indio, California, USA, Javier Padilla. And here to give out the final instructions, Rudy Barragan.
Seconds. You both already received your instructions, okay? Just remember to protect yourselves at all times and obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves. Come off fighting at the bell. Good luck to you both.
Tail of the tape between Padilla and Morales.
Padilla, at age 21, is 7 years younger. He is 6 inches taller. Richard Morales, not a big guy at 5'2", and Padilla has a significant reach advantage.
It's going to get it loud in here as Javier Padilla has no nickname. Over 300 tickets sold. Friends and family asked him, do you know everybody? He's like, no. But friends are friends. They all want to come out here. And he said in the Coachella Valley, boxing is big. They support each other. He's just excited to get going, make his pro debut. He's in the white trunks. Richard Morales, Denver, Colorado, North Denver. 28 years old. Started boxing as a kid. Played football and basketball and track in high school. Just got back into the program, and he's getting tagged early on by Padilla. Uppercut. Padilla is just letting his hands go in his pro debut. Body shot against Morales, who's in his own corner. And that's going to get ruled a slip. Finally, Morales got out of that corner.
Well, he caught a break right there.
Yep.
Morales, with his size and the weight disadvantage as well, he only weighed in at 115. That's technically a junior bantamweight, so he's in against a tall, rangy, large bantamweight who weighed in at 120. He needs to be quicker, and he needs to get inside to do anything.
Has the nickname Slick on his trunks. He needs to be slick against the 21-year-old Padilla. Long arms, uppercut landed by Padilla. Started boxing at the age of 12 at the Indio Boys and Girls Club. Body work from Padilla.
Morales needs to stay. He needs to smother as much as he can. He does not want to be on the outside against this tall, rangy amateur standout.
Morales had a lot of amateur fights, but even after high school, just got away from boxing, burnt out. Javier Padilla, the fighter from Coachella, Indio, California, went to Coachella High, also played soccer. Started boxing at the age of 12. His dad said, hey, you want to go to the gym? It's right next to the soccer field. Yeah. They went in there, sparred. He had no idea what sparring was, because he said, I got my butt kicked The next day, I called my dad and said, let's go back to the gym. I want revenge. He's never left the
Hey,
gym
revenge
since.
is a good motivator.
Joel Diaz. Oh,
That
there's-
body shot
I
worked.
think there was a clash of heads. Joel Diaz, I asked him to describe Padilla, and he basically says more of a freight train that takes a while to get started, although it's a very quick start today, I think based on the opponent. Taking a look at Morales' record, guys, he made his pro debut in 2012 and didn't fight again until 2016. So I guess you could say he's on that Olympic schedule. But this much is clear, Padilla would win every jump ball against him. Big size disadvantage.
Padilla's winning every punch right now. He's throwing every punch, doing whatever he wants, loading up. Morales, a scrappy guy, that he knew what he was getting himself into.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he really? Hey, listen.
Like I said, he said it.
Kudos to him. He got out of the opening round.
Now, a couple seconds to go in that opening round. And he did get out of it.
All right.
Soccer, and then at 12 years old, we were playing at a soccer park right next to the boxing club, and he told me, oh, I was done soccer practice. He got like, let's go inside, and I was like, all right. And he put me to spar, and I got my ass kicked, and ever since then, I've always wanted revenge. Well, I kept getting my ass kicked every day until I started doing the opposite and kicking everybody else's, but I'm really excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time already. Took a while, but finally doing it, and I'm going to show everybody what I can do. Well, I watched Oscar De La Hoya since I was little, and for me to be fighting under his card is an awesome feeling.
And there you see Javier Padilla with his trainer, Toño Diaz. Mention Oscar De La Hoya. How about this one, Steve? I know you're going to love it. His favorite fighter? Chico Corrales.
Oh, the late, great Chico Corrales.
Got that tall, rangy build. I don't know if he has the power that Corrales was gifted with, but he does seem like one of these tall guys who's comfortable with his opponent in his grill.
He was actually used as a sparring partner for Diego De La Hoya a lot of the times that Joel Diaz is using him. So that's some great work right there.
Absolutely.
He got hit.
He hurt his arm. Maybe he threw his arm out of the socket or something, but
he took a knee, so he's going to be counted as a knockdown.
Yep.
But
He's
something
gonna ask
happened
him,
in his
"Do you wanna
shoulder.
continue?" And if he can't continue, it'll be a technical knockout.
Moving that shoulder around.
Yeah, he threw something off.
Saying he's going to continue. A lot of heart being shown by Morales. Padilla drops him, and it is over. Oh, no, wait. I thought Rudy waved it off. No.
It should be over.
I don't know if he's going to get up from this. This is a body shot. That one hurt. He stands up, gets the 8 count. And Rudy Barragán, veteran referee, is really going to keep an eye on him here. Looking over at the corner, second round. Body shot again. More body work from the 20-year-old from Coachella. Uppercut, and that's just a lot. And Rudy jumps in. It is over. Javier Padilla, in his professional debut, gets a second round stoppage in front of his friends, family, and grandfather.
And had Barragán not stepped in when he did, the corner of Richard Morales was ready to throw in the towel. We watch some highlights of this stoppage. See what happened here. Yeah, so he throws it was like a right hook or a right cross. Injured himself, really wasn't able to protect himself with or without the arm injury. It was really just a matter of time.
Too big, too skilled, and simply too hard a puncher. Well, we'll see what Padilla really has. I think tonight was a little bit of a layup. I don't think they're going to match him up with King Kong or Godzilla in his professional debut. But I've mentioned this numerous times, Beto. For Joel Diaz, as a manager and trainer, there is life after Tim Bradley. He has a cadre of prospects that he is sky high on.
He has a good stable in Coachella Valley right now, does Joel Diaz. And a lot of credit to Padilla, makes his pro debut. And that, you know what, you're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Sure.
You come in and destroy and get after it. A lot of heart being shown by Richard Morales, father of 2 from Denver. Came in there, showed some tenacity, but it was too little too late as Javier Padilla gets the second round stoppage. As our ring announcer, Pablo, is ready to go.
time of 1 minute and 16 seconds in round number 2. Tenemos el tiempo de 1 minuto 16 segundos en el segundo round. Declaring your winner by the way of knockout. Su ganador por la vía del knockout. The Indio, California, USA. Javier El Javi Padilla.
There you see, where the Tejana owned by his grandfather. What that Tejana is now 1-0. As his stablemate Luis Correa is going to come up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, up next, another local Indio Califas making his pro debut, Luis Correa.
You see the inside work of Padilla, and he's a finisher. When he gets his man hurt, he knows exactly what to do. He attacks the body, attacks the head, punches in combination, puts his shots together, keeps the pressure on his opponent, basically leaves the referee no choice but to halt the proceedings.
And Doug, you mentioned this, like a Diego Corrales, there are certain tall, lean fighters. They're not really comfortable on the outside in space. They are much better off being chest to chest. And it looked to me early on, Padilla has that ability to make his punches very short and compact in tight spaces.
Noe Munoz coming in, Cuñado leading his way. Noe Munoz, Steve mentioned it earlier, have gloves, will travel. Veteran fighter out of Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, will be willing to take on anywhere. Golden Boy uses a lot for the younger fighters, guys making pro debut. Munoz got the call Wednesday. He lives in Juarez, was on weight because they told him last time you fought, be ready. He came with no trainer. He's actually using Sharipov's trainer. And he's got a tough one as Luis Correa. Let me see Toño Diaz. Change shirts quickly.
Yeah.
There's Toño Diaz.
You got to get the official T-shirt on.
Luis Correa, Indio, California, born in Riverside, moved to the Coachella Valley 5 years ago because he knew Toño from the amateurs. Let's rinse and repeat. Trained by Toño, managed by Joel, another fighter in that stable. This kid, you thought Padilla sold a lot of tickets? Correa, over 500 tickets.
Right. And they're wearing T-shirts with that logo, that Luis Correa logo on there, and it glows in the dark, which is pretty cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for 4 rounds of boxing in the super featherweight division. 4 rounds en la división de peso super pluma. Introducing to you first the fighter standing in the blue corner, wearing red trunks with black trim. His official weight, 129 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, vistiendo calzoncillo rojo con negro, con un peso de 129 libras. Representando Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, México. Noé Muñoz. And his opponent across the ring standing in the red corner wearing blue trunks with green trim. Official weight, 120 pounds. Y su oponente peleando en la esquina Tecate Roja, vistiendo calzoncillo azul con verde, con un peso de 128 libras. Making tonight his pro debut. Also, fighting out of Indio, California, USA, Luis Correa. And to give out the final instructions, here is Tony Krebs.
Luis, coach. Okay, know your trunks are good. Waist is a little high. Punches here and up, okay. Obey my commands. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up. Good luck. Thank you.
This is a pro debut for Luis Correa. 4 rounds against Noe Munoz. Here's the tail of the tape.
Correa at age 18, 9 years younger. He is 2 inches taller, and his wingspan is 3 inches longer.
Noe Munoz lives in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. He's a police officer on the border town. I asked him, why do you keep fighting? He said, because I love it. I just love getting in there and mixing it up. Last time he was in the ring, he was stopped by Francisco Esparza in the first round. Here he is taking on 18-year-old Luis Correa, who should be at a high school football game right now, because Correa is a high school senior at Coachella Valley High School. He missed the last couple of days. On Wednesday, he told his teachers, hey, I'm going to be gone for a couple of days. Can I get some homework so I don't miss anything? So I asked him, like, did you tell your teachers you're a fighter? He's like, no, they don't know. Well, here he is, high school senior, got his work done on Wednesday. and rested yesterday, and here he is making his pro debut in front of more than 500 friends and family at a sold-out Fancy Springs Resort and Casino.
He looks like a high school student.
Quick scouting report from Joel Diaz. He says he's very aggressive with what he says, a devastating left hook. And keep in mind, all three of Munoz's losses have been by knockout.
Luis Coria, born in Riverside. At the age of 12, his father was bringing him to Coachella to train with Toño. Every day, 2-hour drive from Riverside to Coachella and back and forth. Luis would do his homework in the car. Finally, they realized the potential of the young fighter. The dad decided to move the family to Coachella, and the dad still works in Corona, so the dad now makes the drive, 2-hour drive every single day. He says, that's what you have to do for your son, for your family.
Sacrifice.
Coria. He has Michoacan on the back of his trunks. His grandfather actually flew in from Michoacan in the southern state of Mexico to see his grandson make his pro debut. Y saludos a todos los que están mirando en Zitácuaro, Michoacán, en la casa de Tío Félix, donde están ahorita. So they're having a big viewing party in the small town where Coria is from. He visits every single year, and they're at Tío Félix's house watching it. Watching the pro debut.
And right now in round number 1, I'd say he's going through some nerves right now. Seems a little bit over anxious, really trying to sit on that left hook. Just needs to slow the game down just a little bit and let things come to him.
Yeah, it does look like he's a little over anxious, particularly with that left sweeping hook, whether he's aiming at the body or head. Looks like he's forcing it just a little bit. With his height and his reach, and I can tell there's some pop there, and I can see he's got a jab. I'd like to see him just work that jab for a little while.
Right.
5'7" is Coria in the blue. 5'5" is Munoz in the red. Coria knows this venue very well. They have that Desert Showdown, the amateur contest here. 10 seconds to go in the opening round, scheduled for 4. Good right hand landed by Coria. Now they're gonna let it go.
I used to be in school, and sometimes there was kids that would get on my nerves, and like, you know, I wanted to do something about it, but I'd get in trouble. So my dad said, why not go into boxing? You can hit people all you want, and you won't get in trouble for it. So my trainers, they put me to spar some of the professionals, and they noticed like I could do good with bigger guys, and that's when I was like, you know, I think I could do good in professional. Because, you know, they have more experience than I do, and I'm able to hold my own in there. I'm the type of fighter that I'll come forward and, you know, I'll bring it. You know, I don't really care how much I get hit as long as I'm hurting the opponent, and I show that, you know, I can fight.
Hurt the opponent and show I can fight. All right, Luis Coria.
He looks like a schoolboy, but he talks like a warrior.
Well, let's see if he's learned anything. I thought in round number 1 he was over anxious, overshot his left hook over the top. Let's see if he adjusts a little bit and starts bringing that left hook down more towards the shoulder and the body area and just begins to touch Munoz, just to get him to be stabilized just a little bit more. Munoz was actually very crafty there in the first.
That jab he's throwing, the one Steve Kim wanted to see. Keep using the hashtag RingTV. Send us your tweets. There's 3 more fights coming up after this one. Alexis Rocha, Genaro Gomez, Michael Perez, and Peter Petrov is the main event. And Munoz is a veteran where he's going to elude you. He knows what he's up against.
But, you know, it's like in baseball. They say the worst way to actually hit a home run is to try to actually hit a home run.
Right.
And that's what I'm seeing right now with Coria. Coria should just work on touching a guy, being fundamentally sound, and let it happen naturally. He's missing an inordinate amount of left hooks to the head of Munoz.
And he's got a beautiful jab.
Yeah.
Works it well.
Oh, left hook drops Munoz.
He connected there.
He was looking for it, and he found it.
Munoz is stung. I don't know if he's going to get up, and it is over. A one-hitter quitter, as Dougie Fisher would say. And Luis Coria, el muchacho de Zitácuaro, Michoacán, Mexico, has knocked out Noé Munoz in the second round. That was a devastating shot.
And he was looking for it. He wanted it from the opening bell of the opening round. He was not going to be satisfied unless he left its ring on a knockout produced by that left hook.
Yeah,
I think he would have been disappointed if he knocked him out with his right hand.
We'll have to see the replay, but I think he kind of threw a throwaway right hand to get into position with the left hook around the corner. Looking at that final sequence, Doug, he, again, very early, but he has a blend of speed and power and the ability to kick with that left hook.
He does. He's also just got nice fundamentals.
Yeah.
He's got balance. And like I said, when he worked the jab, technically speaking, it was textbook. The only time he looked sloppy is when he was loading up with that left hook.
Joel Diaz said in his scouting report that this young man, Louis Coria, has a devastating left hook. There's still truth in advertising, Doug.
He's got something else. He's got popularity and charisma.
Yeah.
There's something about him where these fans want to put on a t-shirt with his name logo on there and come out and support him. This is his pro debut, and he's already sold 500 tickets. That's going to grow fight by fight. That's a very good thing.
And if you keep knocking people out like that,
yes,
you're going to grow and grow even more. That was a devastating left. We will eventually show you that replay as our announcer, Pablo Flores, is ready to go. '18-year-old Luis Coria. ¿Qué dicen, tío Feli? I don't think Pablo's going to be able to get hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official time of 1 minute and 20 seconds en round number 2. Tenemos el tiempo de 1 minuto 20 segundos en el segundo round. Declaring your winner by the way of knockout. Su ganador por la vía del knockout. With his first victory from Indio, California, USA, Luis Coria.
Luis Coria, the 18-year-old. Here comes the big shot that ended the night.
Yep. And there it is. What he did, Doug, he actually
fell short on purpose with the right.
Right, kind of a throwaway right hand, and that left hook, honestly, power like that, I've said that many times, it's God-given, not man-made.
4 fights in the books. Wins for Basti Samir, Jonathan Navarro, Javier Padilla, and Luis Coria. 3 more fights to go. We'll be back at 7 o'clock Pacific time. Alexis Rocha, Colbert Colozoya, Renato Gomez, Vernon Alston, and then the main event, Michael Perez, Peter Petrov. 7 o'clock Pacific time for Steve Kim and Doug Fisher, Beto Duran. Saying we'll talk to you soon from Indio on Ring TV.
Luis Coria, ladies and gentlemen. I got this Garcia Khan signing glove right now to a lucky fight fan in the crowd. If you want this glove right now, Indio, stand up and make some noise. Who wants this glove right now? Where am I gonna throw this glove right now? Where's it gonna go? Right here. I know y'all paying some hard money for these. You know what? I never go this way. Here we go. There you go. There's the glove for you. There's the glove for you. I got you guys. I got you guys, man. I got you guys. Hit us up right now on our Instagram and Twitter. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give away an autographed signed glove right now to the first person I see on our Instagram or Twitter that sends a selfie, seat, section, and row, and sends me a picture. Send me a picture to @GoldenBoyBoxing, Instagram or Twitter, The first person I see right now is gonna get an autographed signed glove, so do that right now. Do that right now. Send a selfie, section, row, and seat that you are in, and I got you covered with an autographed signed glove. You got about 1 minute to do that right now. We're gonna give away an autographed signed glove in 1 minute. Hit us up right now at Golden Boy Boxing. DJ Ray's on the turntables. Let's go, Ray. Hey, and shout out to Los Corias. Familia Los Corias. Anyone in here with the last name Coria? Make some noise, Coria. Familia.
About 2 hours east of downtown Los Angeles, Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino, home away from home for Golden Boy Promotion. 3 fights coming your way. Alexis Rocha from Santa Ana, Genaro Gomez, San Diego. In the main event, a lot of the line for Michael Perez as he takes on Peter Petrov. That's next on Ring TV. Sun is setting over the Coachella Valley, about 100 degrees on the last day of September. Hot outside, it's going to be hot inside. 3 good action-packed fights coming your way. We are inside the special event center. They have concerts, they have conventions, but it's always cool when they have boxing inside. Alongside the editor of RingTV.com, Doug Fisher, and longtime boxing scribe Steve Kim, I'm Beto Duran. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Ring TV Boxing. And let's get to it. The main event is a good one. A lot of the line, guys could be fighting for a major world title if everything goes their way. And Michael Perez, only 1 loss on his books, Doug. Puerto Rican fighter from New Jersey. He's walking into the arena. What do we know about him?
We know he was a very good amateur fighting out of the New Jersey area. As a professional, very solid fundamentally. He's a good boxer technician who likes to fight, but he can also box. And he's somebody who right here 4.5 years ago suffered the first professional setback of his career. He was knocked out in 6 rounds by Omar Figueroa. Since then, he has gone unbeaten in 10 fights. He's faced dangerous up-and-comers. He's faced experienced veterans. He has not faced a top 10 contender until tonight in Peter Petrov.
El Zar, Peter Petrov, born in Russia, grew up in Spain, now calls Southern California home. And Steve, he's a fighter that hardcore fans are familiar with him, but for the uneducated, what is he?
Well, the Russian Spaniard is part of a lot of a very solid crew of lightweight contenders, and he is a hard-nosed, solid, strong, physically tough grinder. And one thing about him, he consistently gives good fights, and he kind of burst onto the scene in America in 2014 by winning the Boxino tournament on ESPN, rolling through the likes of Chris Judd and also Fernando Carcamo. He is a very, very solid, tough man from Spain. But I'll tell you one thing right now, he's got a real fight on his hand, but most insiders expect him to win tonight. He is the slight favorite.
Now, it is called a title eliminator in the WBA division in the lightweight section. What does that exactly mean?
That means whoever wins tonight will be sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered as the mandatory to the winner of Jorge Linares and Anthony Corolla, who fought again last Saturday with Linares coming out on top. There was a rematch clause in what was a very good fight. Expect him to fight sometime in the early spring of 2016. And Doug, this was a very good scrap for 36 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was the highlight of Jorge Linares' career. He is a 3-time title holder, but that Saturday in Manchester, England, he had to wrest the title from a very proud, very determined hometown favorite in Anthony Corolla.
And you could also argue that it was 2-on-1. I thought he had to overcome some hometown officiating. It was a strong finishing kick that allowed him to take the unanimous decision. And I think he's going to be, once again, a very good fight next year.
That's the main event. That's who Linares could be facing. Go to use their Golden Boy Twitter account. We have a poll up. Who will win the main event, Perez or Petrov? And right now, Petrov has the lead on the Golden Boy Twitter account. Keep voting all the way up until the main event. And tonight, use the hashtag RingTV. We'll be checking your tweets all night long. And that'll be a good one, the main event. I'm excited for that one. It's going to be a good one. Petrov and Perez. And we sat down with the Ring TV cameras.
In school, they used to bully me a little bit. Elementary, middle school, because half of middle school is when I started losing weight. But they used to come like, man, bro, you're fat, little gordito. My goal was to like not lose at 60 pounds. It just happened little by little, and I just started knocking off the weight. I lost 10 pounds. I was like, hey, why not try another 10 pounds? So that's how I worked. As a little kid going to Ronnie's and my older brother's amateur boxing fights, I used to hate boxing, honestly. But they put me in to work out, and I started feeling this rush, like, you know what, if I stick to this, I can get somewhere at it. I'm very happy with training, with my training camp. So far, I just practice the same thing, working off a stiff jab. I think I always got to work on being aggressive. My coach is always telling me to to always use a stiff, hard jab, because once I use my jab, it'll relax me down, throw my punches in combinations instead of just throwing one hard shot to knock them out. And basically working the body, because I know if I work the body early on in the fight, the head will fall towards the later rounds. The advice that Ronnie's always told me, he's always told me to stay confident, never get a big head, never get overconfident or anything like that. Always work hard in the gym and outside, always respect other people and be humble to them.
Down goes Villela, a big left.
Oh, Wayne Hedgepeth is looking close, and he will stop the fight.
And he has.
He did.
I want to better my life and my family's life. I want to be the best that I could be in boxing, which is being a world champion. Not only that, I want to be pound for pound one of the best boxers.
And here he is. That's Alexis Rocha, 4-0, Santa Ana, California. Hard-hitting, welterweight prospect. And what I love about this, Steve, less than a month ago, he was in the ring at the Belasco Theater. He scored a quickie knockout, first-round KO. He's back again. I think that's exactly how young fighters should be moved.
And speaking of young, still a baby, still 2 years within being able to buy a beer legally, just 19 years old. And I'd have to say among the family, that includes Ronnie Rios, he got all the punching genes.
Caballeros, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, en asociación con Cerveza Tecate Born Bold, presenta este cotejo pactado a 4 rounds en la división de peso welter. 4 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division. Your 3 judges scoring. Sus 3 jueces, Rudy Barragán, Max De Luca y Fernando Villarreal. And when the action begins, the third man, el tercero en la superficie, Eddie Hernandez. Introducing to you first the fighter standing in the blue corner wearing black and red. Official weight 147.6 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina Tecate Azul, vistiendo calzoncillo negro con rojo, con un peso de 147.6 libras. Representing El Paso, Texas, Estados Unidos, Colbert Lozoya. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing blue and silver. Official weight, 147.8 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina Tecate Roja, vistiendo calzoncillo color azul con plata, con un peso de 147.8 libras. Professionally, he stands with 4 victories, and 3 of those victories coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord perfecto de 4 victorias, 0 derrotas, y 3 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. De Santa Ana, California, Alexis Rocha. Y para dar las instrucciones finales, aquí está Eddie Hernández.
Come here. See your glove. Let me see your glove. Mouthpiece? All right, gentlemen, I've been over the rules with you both. You know what I expect. Your trunks are a little high. We're gonna go here. Yours are a little high too, all right? Touch gloves, good luck.
Good.
Eddie Hernandez, the referee, the tail of the tape for this one.
Rocha, 17 years younger at age 19. He is 1 inch taller, and he has the reach advantage in this match.
19-year-old Alexis Rocha, 4-0, 3 KOs, getting ready to go. Opening bout here at a sold-out Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. Great way to end September as we are underway. Beth Durant, Steve Kim, and Doug Fisher. The southpaw is Alexis Rocha. Lex, as they call him at TKO Boxing, and Santana is in the blue. Colbert Lozoya, 7-13, veteran fighter, El Paso, Texas, getting tagged early on. Alexis Rocha comes to work quickly.
And guys, this may not last long. Colbert Lozoya has been knocked down 9 times. Just keep that in mind.
He is 7-13. He was Yanev's decision lost in Lozoya in September. Actually, 3 weeks ago. I'm already in my October pumpkin phase. There's Alexis Rocha, younger brother of Ronnie Rios. Mentioned it earlier, weighed over 200 pounds when he was 5'5". Went to the gym to lose weight. Chiseled out, and he's a solid 147. He's seen all 4 of his fights. Only gone the distance once. That was in June against Anthony Woods, a fighter who was not trying to get stopped.
I see a lot of changes from that pro debut, Beto. He was, I mean, he was shot out of a cannon in his pro debut. He came out, he was looking for the knockout. He was going crazy to the body. Much more poised fighter in there. He's taking his time, setting his punches up, doing good work on the outside.
And
devastating
down
work
goes Lozoya here in the first round, halfway through the first, through the ropes. Don't know if he's going to get up in this one. His foot was dangling off the end, and it is over. First round knockout for Alexis Rocha. Lozoya thought he had beat the count.
Beto, that's what I call getting up at 10.5. I think he tasted the power early. He realized he was overmatched. And quite frankly, that fight was only going in one direction, probably since the moment it was signed.
Alexis Rocha comes in, does what he's supposed to do. 5-0 now with 4 KOs.
This is his second consecutive first round stoppage, and let's see how he did it. Cranking rights to the body and to the head. It was a right to the jaw. Sent Lozoya down awkwardly. May have hurt his knee in the manner in which he fell. Right, there's some nice finishing lefts, but it was a right hook that hurt him.
One thing is clear, Doug. Alexis Rocha is a real heavy-handed puncher from the southpaw stance, and punchers are born, they are not made. The question will be, and I think, again, this is still very, very early in the process, how will he develop his other tools, but he has that natural God-given ability to kick.
I see development. I see physical development, his body, you know, as he's getting older, his muscles are getting tighter, getting, you know, stronger. I see his technique is getting better, and he's more patient.
Yeah, and we mention again, he's only 19 years old. I don't believe that the Golden Boy brass will be in a rush with that young man.
There's no reason to.
He turned 19 in July. They're the Segerstrom High School alum, Alexis Rocha, trained by Hector Lopez. There you see Hector with his New England Patriots hat. All the things that trainers have told me over the years to make sure to mention in a broadcast, like, can you mention my Patriots hat?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he is a huge Patriots fan.
Yes, he is. Yes,
no
he
doubt.
is.
He's proud and loyal.
And he should be proud of his young fighter, Alexis Rocha, who's now 5-0.
He's doing a great job, but I agree with you, Steve. There's no reason to rush this kid. The only reason you'd maybe rush somebody who's 19 years old is if they had like 200 amateur fights and they were an elite amateur. They were like an Olympian or whatever. But even then, you know, let them get into their 20s.
Yeah.
Here's our announcer. Pablo, our announcer from Tijuana, is getting ready. Handing him the mic. The Team TKO in Santana, California. I think that's the hardest part to learn as a young fighter. After you get done, you gotta go take pictures. You gotta pose. You gotta learn. There you see Valentin. When the camera guys are giving you instructions, you gotta know what's up. Turn to the left, there you go. Show off the Mexican flag, show off the USA flag, there you go. And then you wait for Pablo, the ring announcer. As Colbert Lozoya comes over, shakes hands, raised the hand of Alexis Rocha. I think he's gonna be like, you know what? I fought that kid when he was only 4-0. From the looks of it, Alexis Rocha has a lot of potential, a lot of upside on him. Hurry up and wait is the process right now. Make sure you go to the Golden Boy Twitter account, vote who will win, Petrov or Perez. So a kid who weighed over 200 pounds, a gordito as they say in Spanish, now a chiseled 147, had no problem making it. He's actually underweight.
Looking at his frame, Beto, at age 24, 25, I could easily see him growing one day into a middleweight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Damas y caballeros, tenemos el tiempo oficial de 1 minuto 40 segundos en el primer asalto. We have the official time of 1 minute and 40 seconds in round number 1. Declaring your winner by the way of knockout. Su ganador por la vía del knockout, Puritito Santana, California, Alexis Lex Rocha.
First round KO for Alexis Rocha. Third time he stopped the opponent in the first round. The other time that he stopped him was in the third. 19-year-old Lex. This gives it a chance to use Steve Kim's news and notes right now as he gets interviewed by Spanish TV, as we're going to check out the highlight of the fight. Crack staff putting it together. I mean, whoever's working the replay tonight, getting their money's worth.
Yeah, and this is no surprise given the fact Lozoya has hit the canvas many times, and this will be his 10th knockout loss. But again, I agree with you, Doug. I think there is technical development. I think we're going to have to find out a little bit more. I think one thing that's going to be found out is how does he operate in the second half of, let's say, a 6-round fight. It might be at that stage, and again, still very early, but do you now find him a spoiler type just to get him a few rounds under his belt early on?
Right, maybe an opponent kind of like that Jonathan Navarro faced earlier on tonight's card. Somebody who's a survivor, who's quirky, who's unorthodox, who's going to move, frustrate you a little bit. The kid goes some rounds and is in there with somebody that is not readily there to be cracked. Because when this kid lands on you, it's generally over. But I love the nice, short, compact punches that he had on the inside.
And before we get to him, Steve Kim's news and notes. We're going to get one right now, Steve. December 17th at the Forum. What do you got?
Well, I'm the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited. We've got a fight between two guys that are no strangers to Fight of the Year. It was made official by Golden Boy yesterday, confirmed by everyone involved. Takashi Miura will fight Orlando Salido. Now, this will be for the WBC Interim 130 as Francisco Vargas nurses from that war on June 4th. Doug, I think this fight is a can't miss, given the fact the combatants involved, I think, make a strong argument for being the last two fight of the years.
And we're going to make a strong argument
Both
for Steve.
Both guys have been in their share of Fight of the Year candidates as Alexis Rocha replaces Steve Kim here in the broadcast booth. Don't worry about the sweat.
Alexis Rocha is jumping in right now. Carla Lustenau, Director of Travel, make sure to jump in with us too. Nice red shirt, Lustenau. Alex Rocha, that's the girl that booked your travel, right? It's not that hard to book your travel to India when you can only one round, bro.
I mean, I always got to go in there cautious, but I got to go in aggressive at the same time,
Your last fight was less than 30 days ago.
Yes.
It was just August 19th at the Blasco Theater.
Yeah.
What's it like when there's less than a month between fights?
No, right after my last fight, I went straight to the gym. Actually, the next day, the fight was on a Friday. The next day on Saturday, I went straight to working out.
So how much sparring do you do when there's just a couple of weeks in between fights?
We get about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We try to mix it up. We don't want to overwork also as well because I just fought previously, so I'm keeping active. I'm pretty sharp. I'm right off the gym. I don't gain too much weight.
Now, you have an interesting perspective on the main event tonight. Petrov and Michael Perez. You know him well. You sparred them both.
Yes.
How do you see that one?
Actually, man.
Don't make a prediction, but
no
how
prediction.
do you see it going?
It's gonna be a war. I can expect that. It's gonna be a war. Mike Perez, he's a great boxer. He loves boxing. Using his jab, using his reach. Petrov comes coming forward, so it's gonna be a pretty interesting fight.
Alexis Rocha. At one point, you said it. You were the gordito over 200 pounds.
Yes, sir.
You're now fighting at 147. How do you feel at this weight?
I feel strong. I feel very strong. I make the weight very comfortable. I don't struggle or anything. But yeah, I see myself another 2-3 years. I'm still 19. I'm still developing. I'm still a little kid.
You've got the frame where I could easily see you fight at
54?
junior middleweight.
Yeah.
But if you can make 147,
Yeah, why
you feel
not?
strong and
Yeah.
you feel fast, this welterweight's a great division.
Exactly, yeah. So let me just outgrow the weight class, and then I'll go to 50-54.
So no, your hands feel fine. Obviously, not a mark on your face. Could
No.
you come back in like 3 weeks? Would you be comfortable doing that?
Of course.
And
the plan is to be active, and thank God, Golden Boy. They've been keeping me active, giving me great cards like this. So I gotta thank them.
Well, Golden Boy is not busy in October, but November there's 2 fights. We're actually going to be back here November 18th.
Yeah.
Maybe talk to Hector, let him know.
What I really want, I want to fight, and my brother's on the card. I don't know when he's fighting, but hopefully in December or something like that. and hopefully I can find under his undercard.
Brother Ronnie Rios,
Yes, sir.
Segerstrom High School alum.
Santana.
Santana or is it Santa Ana?
Both Santana, Santa Ana.
There's the camera. Say what's up to your people.
Hey, everyone, thank you back home in Santa Ana. Everyone in Santa Ana, thank you so much. Appreciate all the support.
Santa Ana, Santana. We're in India. We'll be back with more on Ring TV. And that's next week at the LA Fight Club Belasco Theater. Get your tickets now. They always sell out. Our next fight coming up, Genaro Gomez, Vernon Alston. Gon is 2-0 from San Diego, trained by Robert Garcia, 21-year-old fighter, and he sat down with our Ring TV cameras. This fighter is somebody that Golden Boy is really high on.
Started boxing when I was 7. I used to spar the neighbors and my cousins all the time. Like always fighting my daughter. He always would like teach me. And my older brother, rest in peace, he used to fight, so I used to look up to him. But inside of me, boxing was like everything for me. I know a lot of people in India, they all know me. And since my amateur career, I fought right there like 2-3 times in the Desert Showdown, BCR. I was a champion there too, always. And yeah, I'm really excited to go fight there. It's a great opportunity. Like I feel blessed. I've seen a little bit boxers trying to be, I don't know, Mayweather trying to copy other boxers. I don't copy no boxer. I swear. I don't even watch boxing. Like I don't watch boxing. Like I don't study boxers. I'll see fights, but I don't copy nothing. Like I'm my own boxer. We have our own school, and I don't know. It's just something in me. I could fight anyone, like any style. And yeah, I think that makes it different. I don't copy nothing. It's just natural thing that I have in me. It's a talent that is in me. I can't even explain it. It's just in me. It's natural. Something natural. I don't fake it. I don't copy no one, and it's just me. I'm a humble person, but in the ring is different, you know. And in the ring, I'll fight anyone my weight. Anyone. Like I'm talking about anyone. I always get ready, and what happens, happens. And it's just me inside the ring. Condeno la gente. Condenado. But if the knockout comes, it comes. If I have to go long distance, I'll go long distance. Since I was little, I always wanted to be a world champion, and the opportunities coming my way, I'm gonna take it.
And there he is in the locker room. There, over his shoulder, there you see Michael Perez. As Robert Garcia is training both of them back to back. Genaro Gomez, as Robert said, by this time the work's already done. These guys are ready to roll. Gomez from San Diego. His dad also is corner Ray Gomez, Luis Gomez. As it's a co-training. Robert does the most of it. Luis, his father, former fighter in Mexico, has trained a couple fighters that fought in Tijuana. Now he's running his son's career. They do, Robert says, good job just going back and forth. And let's look at the highlights of his young career.
This is the pro debut of Genaro Gomez. And he was in with Archie Weah.
Archie Weah.
Yeah, a guy who we had seen in a previous card against the guy Hector Duarte, or Oscar Duarte.
Oscar Duarte.
And took him the distance. Gomez got him out of there in 1 round. And when he talks about his style, he means that. In the amateurs, he had the exact same style that he has right now in the pro. He was a methodical, stalking, heavy-handed boxer, didn't throw away punches, wasn't bouncing around on his toes. He was all about business, all about doing damage, even in the amateurs. And he's got his game face on now. He's getting into that fighter zone
Yeah,
backstage.
and one thing that's very evident, Doug, you talk about the temperament of a fighter. His mentality is to be very, very aggressive. And the first 2 times we've seen him, we have not seen the second round. So we'll see what happens tonight.
And Steve, let's get back to your news and notes as Spanish TV is having another interview right now. We talked about Salido Miura, November 26th. We're going to work our way back on the calendar. What do you got there?
Well, this fight has been finalized, and Nicholas Walters came back down to earth in terms of his financial demands, and I think this is a gem of a fight put on by Top Rank. Vasyl Lomachenko, Doug, one of the great operators, one of the really good stylists in this game. He'll be taking on Nicholas Walters on HBO.
Yeah, it's 2 former featherweight champs meeting at 130 pounds, where Lomachenko holds the WBO 130-pound title, and Lomachenko is recognized as a pound-for-pound elite boxer. But Walter's one of the best punchers in those lighter weight classes.
That's our main event right there. Michael Perez, and he takes on Peter Petrov. Perez, 24-1-2. Normally, the main event gets his own locker room, but because Robert Garcia is working them, they put them both in there. Perez says no problem with it. It's a family affair.
Right, they're comfortable with it. They motivate each other.
Well, they live together.
They live together, and I'm sure all these young guys like Hector Tanahara Jr. and Jonathan Navarro and all those guys, Joshua Franco, they look up to him.
Yeah.
He's more advanced in his career. He is now where they want to be in a couple of years. So they learn from him, just watching him go about his own career.
That's the eliminator for the WBA in the lightweight division. We saw earlier it was Jorge Linares over Crolla. The highlights from that one. Steve, back to your news and notes. November 18th, we are here for another Golden Boy Edition show. November 19th, though, where are you going?
Well, right from here, I'm going to actually take what is then a 2-hour drive to Las Vegas as Sergey Kovalev takes on Andre Ward. It was announced by Golden Boy today, November 18th, at this very same venue. Mauricio Herrera looks to bounce back from his loss against Frankie Gomez against Juan Pablo Cesar Cano, which should be a really good crossroads bout. Going back to December 17th, guys, obviously everyone's going to talk about the main event of Miura Salido. I think that is peanut butter and jelly. My understanding is there's a chance that Golden Boy will get 2 other fights on that HBO broadcast. Okay. And I think Joseph Diaz certainly will be in the mix. And this is what these young fighters on this stage are fighting for, is, as we like to say, graduate to a bigger, more lucrative platform.
Yeah, go and check out the Golden Boy YouTube page. Any fight that we've called, it's there for you. You go and check out the fight from the Belasco here at Fantasy Springs. Also, the young Joseph Diaz when he fought here. Go and check out the Golden Boy YouTube page.
Joseph Diaz.
Well,
he's old now.
Well, he's pay-per-view. He doesn't know us anymore.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
we
he's a
know
big
him.
timer.
And then working back November 5th in Las Vegas, there's another show.
Well, Pacquiao Vargas is going to happen. Top Rank is going at it themselves. The undercard's been rounded out. I think the best fight on the card, Doug, I don't know if you agree with me, Jesse Magdaleno challenging WBO 22-pound champion Nonito Donaire, and also Oscar Valdez making his first title defense.
Anytime he fights, I want to watch.
And then you mentioned Magdaleno, his brother Diego Magdaleno. We're going to see him next Friday at the Belasco Theater. He takes Art Hovhannisyan in the main event. Diego Magdaleno, the last time he was in the ring, was knocked out by Terry Flanagan, and he is making his way back training with Joel Diaz. Belasco Theater, get your tickets. It always sells out. LA Fight Club. Beto Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim. Doug, your mailbag, where can they reach you at?
Dougie at boxingmailbag.com.
People are cool. They're right now. They're all right.
Everyone's happy. I mean, they're looking at this fall and winter schedule, and there's just a lot of anticipation on these matchups, from Ward Kovalev to Lomachenko Walters to Miura Salido. It's people were complaining earlier in the year and over the summer. I don't know why, because I think we've had a lot of great fights the second half of this year.
And hopefully Danny Jacobs against Gennady Golovkin.
That's still in the works.
I reached out to Tom Loeffler, who, when he goes Jimmy Hoffa, which means underground,
it's good news.
It usually means he's trying to hammer something out. I'm optimistic that it can happen, but it's far from finalized. They are still working on it.
Steve Kim, Doug Fisher, Beto Duran. We'll be back with more on ringtv.com. That's December 17th, making his way now, Genaro Gamez, San Diego, California, where he's grown up.
TV co-main event live on Estrella TV, brought to you by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, making his way into the ring first. Make some noise for Vernon Alston!
There you see his dad with the thick mustache, La Brocha, Luis Gamez. Robert Garcia in the middle. Mikey Garcia making an appearance. Hector Tanahara Sr. with the glasses. Building it up as Genaro Gamez 2-0. Co-main. So when they throw you in as a co-main at 2-0, do you mean that means Oscar really likes you?
Yes. Yeah, and Oscar is extremely high on Gamez.
We're talking with President Eric Gomez just about some of these young guys over the summer. He's like, Gamez has an aura about him, an it factor. Same thing that Robert Diaz said. It's like there's something about him.
I spoke with Eric Gomez about 2 weeks before the Summer Olympics, and I asked Eric, will Golden Boy be a player for some of these Olympians? And he said, you know, Steve, we're not going to get stupid and overpay for anybody. I like our cast of young kids, and I think certainly Gamez is part of that group.
Gamez 21, Joshua Franco 21. You have Hector Tanahara 19. We just saw Alexis Rocha 19. The youngsters, in put a baseball equivalent, low A ball, are really loaded.
Listen, a young kid that we saw his pro debut, Cesar Diaz, he's coming back November 18th to this very same venue.
Genaro Gamez. Got the hair looking smooth. Cuñado on his side, wearing the red shirt. That's Golden Boy staff bringing him in.
And he likes this. This walk to the ring, there's no butterflies. There's nothing but enthusiasm and anticipation because he believes he is a born fighter. This is what he was meant to do. Get in there and get it on in prize fights.
And he comes into El Sinaloense. His dad from Perico, Sinaloa. In Mexico, in Sinaloense. If you're going to a Dodger game, you watch Julio Urias pitch, this is the song he comes into. Vernon Alston in the ring. Genaro Gamez ready to go. Our co-main 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. You can go to the Golden Boy Twitter account. Who will win, Petrov or Perez? Earlier on, Petrov was up 56%. Where is it at now? Oh.
All right, Perez with some port.
Wepa, they're watching us in Jersey, huh?
Hey, listen, he's got the youth. 26 years old. Petrov, 33, and a lot of fights. 43 professional fights. That's wear and tear, but it's also experience.
As El Sinaloense finishes up, our ring announcer from Tijuana is ready to go. Steve Kim from Montebello ready to go. Dougie from Inglewood ready to
Damas y
go.
caballeros, este es el combate coestelar de esta noche. Pactado a 6 rounds en la división de peso ligero. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is your co-main event of the evening. 6 rounds of boxing in the lightweight division. Your 3 judges scoring, sus 3 jueces, Alejandro Rochin, Rudy Barragán, y Zachary Young. And when the action begins, your 3rd man, el tercero en la superficie, Tony Krebs. Introducing to you first the fighter standing in the blue corner, wearing silver and red. Official weight, 131 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina Tecate Azul, vistiendo calzoncillo plata con rojo, con un peso de 131 libras. Professionally, he stands with 9 victories, 6 losses, 1 draw, and 7 of those victories coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 6 victorias, 9 victorias, 6 derrotas, un empate y 7 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Fighting out of Durham, North Carolina, Vernon Alston. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner, wearing black trunks with gold trim. Official weight, 134 pounds. Y su rival, peleando en la esquina Tecate Roja, vistiendo calzoncillo negro con dorado, con un peso de 134 libras. Professionally, he stands with 2 victories, and those 2 victories coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 2 victorias y esas 2 victorias por la vía del knockout. Representando San Diego, California, Estados Unidos. Damas y caballeros, Genaro, el Conde Gámez. Y para dar las instrucciones finales, aquí está Tony Krebs.
Vernon, coach. Genaro, coach. Okay, guys, your trunks are great. Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck. Go back and wait for the bell.
Tony Krebs, third man in the ring. Let's look at the tail of the tape.
Gámez at age 21 is 7 years younger. He is 2 inches taller, but Alston has a very slight reach advantage.
Genaro Gámez, 21, started boxing as a young kid. His dad actually boxed a couple times professionally in Mexico. Dad, like mentioned, it, trains a couple fighters, but now all the attention is on his son, Genaro Gámez, who's 21 years old. Has an older brother, also boxed, not as a pro, but has an older brother. Gámez, fighting family, younger brother also boxes. Dad nicknamed El Gallito. He's now training his son alongside Robert Garcia. Genaro Gámez, 2 fights in the books, both first round knockouts. Turned pro in April. Second fight was in June.
As I said earlier, the style you see right now from Gámez, this is exactly how he fought as an amateur. He had a professional style as an amateur and was good enough to be a U.S. national champion.
Good right hand from Gámez early on. Body work from Gámez, attacking, going upstairs again. El Conde, the nickname he used to condemn his opponents as an amateur. He's trying to do that now, and he drops Alston here early in the first round. A lot of friends and family driving up from San Diego, and Gámez has Alston going here in the first. Alston 9-6-1 in his career. He's getting worked. That left hook got him, body work. Gámez is coming in quickly, trying to end it. Good right hand, body work. Upstairs going is Gámez.
You notice Gámez does not waste any punches.
No, he doesn't.
That's it! You got him? Yeah.
He literally landed in our lap, ladies and gentlemen, and Beto Duran actually saved him from falling on his head.
Yeah, Tony Krebs has waved the fight off. Sometimes the fighter will get 20 seconds to get back into the ring if he's in condition to, but Krebs recognizes that he's out of it.
Well, I'll say this, Gámez with the victory, Beto Duran with the save.
Good job, Beto.
That was crazy. He literally fell through the ropes right at me, and I caught him. I don't put my hands out. He gets the floor.
Yeah, and that's no good. This is a hard concrete floor.
Let's check out the replay from the knockout from Gámez.
Gámez on the attack, Alston against the ropes, and he got nailed with a hook while he was tied up in the ropes. Here's another angle of it, a better angle.
Oh,
yeah,
that left.
Those lefts.
And
right under the chin, and Beto with the save.
Jeez.
Great job, Beto.
I thought Gámez actually fought at a more measured pace, maybe trying to get in a round or two. Bottom line is, Alston just didn't catch very well.
Now, his punch resistance has never been that good, but he is a very quick and athletic game opponent. He's the kind of guy to give most fighters who are just 2-0 some trouble, at least take them a few rounds. Gámez, he's just too polished in there. His confidence is something else for a guy with just 3 fights under his belt now and having never been out of the first round.
You know, it's what they used to describe Fernando Vargas as a young prospect. Instead of being not ferocious, but precocious.
Yeah.
There you see his dad, Luis Gámez, y saludos a todos de Perico, Sinaloa, El Pachuco. Miraron a su muchacho con el knockout in the primer round. 4 brothers in the Gámez family. They saw their youngest brother with the first round KO. I'm still trying to gather myself around here. Don't mind me here.
Beto, I'm going to call you Eric Gagne. Because you got the save. Seriously. I'll call you Allstate. Good hands.
Dude, but the thing is, though, he was out.
Yes, he was.
His body was limp right here.
Yes, it was.
Like myself and the timekeeper had to push him back in there.
There's the left. I'm sorry, there's the left and then follow up right. But these lefts right here, that one right there, and then this one right in the nose.
And
He's out. He doesn't have control of his body.
And that's my blue shirt. Save him. There's no.
There you go. You and the timekeeper.
Wow.
At this point, you guys have much better reflexes than Alston does.
Wow. And there you see his face. He was
keep him from
completely
hitting
out.
this hard concrete floor, which,
Well,
you know, it could save his life.
It's the chair. Where this chair is at right here, there's
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
He would have gone straight down
Beto,
there.
Allstate Duran.
How about
I mean,
Gennaro
good
Gomez
hands.
with a
Yeah.
3-0, 3 KOs, 3 professional fights, all first round knockouts.
And you know, Beto, on a serious note, that's why the length of the ropes, the height, like you look at this bottom rope, you just wonder based on what happened, should it be a little bit lower? And in fact, the 4th rope was put in to actually save fighters from awkward falls and fighters kind of getting out of the ring and getting caught up. That happened about 30, 40 years ago, that changed.
Right, and in fact, there were some fighters that died that way.
Yes.
There was a fighter from Springfield, Ohio, featherweight champ, Davey Moore.
Davey Moore.
And he got caught in that middle rope
Yeah.
and his head hit.
Yeah.
You know.
And there you see that rope right in front of us right here. That's the one that was added on, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
It. The good news, Vernon Alston on his feet in his corner. Doctors checked him out quickly.
Yeah, I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
He
Seems
took some.
good.
He's looking up.
And he just never got started tonight.
Well, how could he?
No. Well, he's somebody that if you give him the room, if you give him the space and time, and he gets in his rhythm, he's very dangerous because he's very quick, explosive, and athletic. But Gomez is just very good at getting in range, and when he's in range, he lets the right punches go at the right time, and everything is heavy and accurate.
Yvette, Gianna, Luis El Cabezon is the family members for Gennaro Gomez. Luis actually always tells him, throw the uppercut and body shots, the younger one. Well, he paid attention. There you see one of his brothers also, all of them amateurs. Southwest High alum in San Diego. Oh, he's going to go back to the 619, 3-0 with 3 KOs. Steve, you were talking about how Eric Gomez told you they didn't sign any Olympics. But the young stable for Golden Boy, and it's not hyperbole from us, it's not because we work for them, but these are kids who are legit making name for themselves quickly.
Yeah, and they have that look. And so sometimes, even though they're not tested, they don't have the track record, as Larry Merchant would say, sometimes you have to trust your eyes. I mean, when I see a Virgil Ortiz, Doug, I say to myself, I would buy stock in that guy.
Right.
Gennaro Gomez. Good thing I didn't use all my strength playing golf this morning. played actually here at Eagle Glen at Fantasy Springs with Mario Ruiz, works at ESPN, and you know, maybe I should save my energy for tonight. Who knew I was going to save a guy coming through the ropes?
And you know, on a serious note, this is why the commission, as we look at the ring apron and you see what is around a lot of the tables, they are all actually very, very much sticklers for what sticks out, how far our screens are, where the tables are set up, just because of what happened to Mr. Alston.
Use the hashtag RingTV. We'll read your tweets later on the night.
1 minuto 30 segundos. En el primer asalto, we have the official time of 1 minute and 30 seconds coming into round number 1. Declaring your winner by the way of knockout. Su ganador por la vía del knockout. Y aún invicto. Puritito San Diego, California. Gennaro El Conde Gomez.
El Sinaloense can jam again. Gomez officially gets it as Vernon Alston is escorted out of the ring, walking out of the ring. Great sign. He was just caught. Oof. And Steve, you said this to Alexis Rocha, or Doug, you said to Alexis, you know, nothing on you, first round, you can come back in 3 weeks.
If your hands are healthy, your face is clean, why not come back in 2 weeks if you can come back in 2 weeks?
Well, we have them next week. I think the card at Velasco's already full.
Yeah, that's filled up, but maybe
November 5th?
November
18th here.
November 18th here. Or maybe December 17th in Inglewood at the Forum.
Yeah, let's look at the Golden Boy calendar. Next Friday, Velasco about to sell out. Go and get those tickets there. November 5th, Emilio Sanchez is the co-feature on that. Who's the main on that one?
I don't think that's been decided yet.
That'll be there, but that'll always sell. First Friday of the month at Velasco, always fun. November 18th, back here at Fantasy Springs. Mauricio Herrera, Pablo Cano, that'll be a good one. Herrera brings all that Riverside crowd with him. And then December 17th at the Forum, Steve said it's fighters that Golden Boy works with in Mura and
Orlando Salido.
Beat Salido. And you can throw the Golden Boy fighters on there.
Yeah, and one note about Francisco Vargas. My understanding is that he has to fight his WBC #1 contender, Miguel Roman. Now, after he takes care of that obligation, at that point, then he's going to have to fight the winner of December 17th, Salido and Miura. So there's a lot of good stuff going on at 130.
Yeah, you tweeted, oh, your boxing calendar, Steve, is all quiet. All you had were Miami games. All of a sudden.
Well, here's the thing. The next 4 weeks, we're calling it Darktober because they are going dark. In essence, the game of boxing, I think they're stepping aside for the World Series, the football season. Let's face it, not a lot going on at the top level. But, Doug, from November 5th to about December 17th, as he said, I don't think any sane, rational boxing fan can complain.
We'll be back with more in Indio, California. You're watching Ring TV. Back here ringside in Indio, California, Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. Beto Duran, Doug Fisher, and now joined by the man of the moment, Genaro El Conde Gamez. 3-0, 3 KOs. Did you even, oh, you did break a sweat, right? Okay.
I did.
How did you feel in there?
In the dressing room, not during the fight.
I felt great. I did a great training camp, and I was just doing my thing.
Did you do your homework on Alston? Because looking at some stuff on him on YouTube, he's an athletic guy, very quick, very mobile. Do you watch him, and did you come up with a game plan, or you just always fight your fight?
Yeah, they showed me the fight. I saw a little bit. I don't really watch my opponents. I let my team look at it. But like I told you guys one time, once I get in the ring, that's when I really study my boxer, because it's never the same opponent. Like if he fought, I saw how he fought, but I didn't study him.
You came out right away really controlled. It's not like we've seen other guys that have only 2 records. They come out and they're just going so fast. You have a calm approach. Just look at the highlights from the first round, because you came out real aggressive and throwing some bigger punches. What do you see here? Oh, well, first of all,
I see a cute guy.
Yeah, there you go. That was that right to start it off. What do you see here?
It was just putting some punches together, getting warmed up. But punches landed, and I got a knockout again.
This is a highlight reel knockout, because you knocked him out of the ropes, and it was over. How does it feel in just your 3rd pro fight to have that kind of knockout that goes viral, that's on YouTube, that people buzz about?
It feels awesome, and I'll keep doing it over and over. If the opponent's on my level, I'll keep doing the same thing.
What's it like working with Robert Garcia? I know your dad's the main trainer, but you have Robert there in your corner also.
Yeah, Robert, it's a great inspiration. He's a great manager. He supports my team a lot, me and my dad, everyone, and I'm really appreciate it. I'm very thankful with him. And it feels great having a great person in my corner. And he told me tips and everything. But yeah,
hey, who do you spar with there?
This training camp?
Yeah.
I spar Michael Perez, the next one.
Oh, did you?
We got some work in.
That's good work.
Yeah, we got some work.
For both of you.
Yeah, and I think he's 100% ready. And I spar him. I spar Billy Dib.
Okay.
I spar him 2 rounds.
Former featherweight
from
title
Australia.
holder from Australia.
Great man. Shout out to him. He's a great
guy.
person. Yeah, great guy.
You came out
Really
to El
awesome.
Sinaloense, Los Pericos, Sinaloa. They're all excited out there. Send your
Un saludo a toda mi raza de allá de Perico, Sinaloa, a todo Sinaloa, a toda mi familia. Les mando un abrazo y un beso a los que conozco y a los que no conozco, y a toda la gente de San Diego, Tijuana, Ensenada, todo México y todo Estados Unidos.
¿Y el cabezón qué?
Ah, el cabezón. I couldn't bring him. He's in school.
Your
But my
little
son-
brother.
Yeah, it's my nephew.
Oh, it's your
My
nephew. That's
It's
right. Your
It's
nephew.
my brother's son. My brother, the one that passed away, and he called me dad now. He's my son. So he's my son.
El cabezón. Your
Yeah.
dad, El Pollito, is all excited.
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. They got to go tack you back there.
Okay.
Meeting's ready to go.
Thank you.
Genaro El Conde
I want to give a
Gamez.
big shout out to my Uncle Rob from Auto Spot. He hooked me up with a sick-ass system for this time.
Look at you. Get
Yeah.
down. There you go. He's
Thank
now 3-0, 3 KOs in the first round. Our main event is coming up
you.
between
Thank
Peter
you. Nice to
Petrov
meet you guys.
and Michael the Artist Perez.
see
We'll be back with more in Indio on Ring TV. November 18th, Mauricio Herrera always puts on a good show. Pablo Cano, 2 fighters coming off of losses. That should be a good scrap. November 18th here at the Fancy Springs Resort and Casino. Beto Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim. Our main event coming up. Peter Petrov, El Zar from Russia, born in Spain, live in Southern California, takes on the artist Michael Perez. There you see the Puerto Rican flag in the back. His dad with the glasses right there in the black shirt. And he sat down with our Ring TV cameras.
I used to fight a lot in school, not because I picked on people. I used to actually, you know, see other people getting bullied on and stuff like that, and I used to, like, fight for other people. My father was like, "Oh, you like to fight? You like to fight?" Because they used to always call him into school, and he used to come all the time, and he was like, "You like to fight? You know what? I'm bringing to the gym." I'm like, "All right, bring him to the gym." Went to the gym, and just fell in love with the sport, man. I was doing good. I did my amateur career. I was winning a lot of national titles, and you know, I did a good name for myself in the amateur scene. And then, you know, it was just evident to become pro. I became pro at the age of 18, straight out of high school. Just coming out here, the method that Robert Garcia uses, obviously it works. You know, he got multiple world champs, and that's what I was looking for. And you know, I'm always trying to progress, always trying to be better at what I do. And that's what we're searching for, and that's what we did. And we came out here, and it was all a good idea, I think. You know, and until today, you know, I've won with Robert. I won the NABO title, and now we're fighting for a title eliminator. This is where we want to be. It's a fight that we got to win to take a hold in the next step of my career. And you know, we're gonna go in there with 100% ready, mentally and physically. And you know, we're gonna win this fight. We're gonna win this fight. I'm very confident that we're gonna win this fight. I got more talent, more tools, more arsenal than Peter Petrov, and I'm ready.
Michael Perez, Michael Angelo Perez, actually. That's why the nickname, the artist. And you see Eddie Gomez with it. Watching the homie Artist Perez go to work, rooting for you tonight to get that victory. Also watching Lamont Roach Jr. Lamont Roach, always good at promoting. Turn to Ring Magazine and page 86 November issue to check him out, Lamont Roach Jr.
Faces,
There you go. Team No Excuse. Say what's up to the security out there in Washington, D.C. And keep those tweets coming. As who's in Paramount right now? Fabian562 watching Ring TV live in Paramount. We appreciate that. And the updated Twitter poll here, Steve.
And also one last one, Patrick Smith, you guys ever had someone fall into your laps? Well, Beto just did.
I just did. And who's going to win the main event? It started with Petrov, then it was Perez, and Martis Perez.
The artist, he's got support.
There it is, 60-40. Go to Golden Boy's Twitter account. You still got a couple minutes. And Ramon Ayala's Tragos Amargo is jamming here at a sold-out Fancy Springs Resort and Casino. And if it sounds like I'm yelling, it's because it has gotten super loud in here.
And Beto, one note you asked me, November 5th, who was the headliner at Belasco Theater, or just texted Robert Diaz. He says Manuel Tino Avila.
Oh.
Will be on top of that bill.
Good to see him back.
Coming down from Northern California, so keep the tweets coming right now. And yeah, the tweets about the Gennaro Gomez knockout, pretty crazy.
No, this needs to be on SportsCenter Top 10. I want to see Beto Duran with the sure hands land on that segment.
You know, the thing, usually my notes are nice and neat.
Yeah.
They were everywhere, and I have no idea where my pen and highlighter is right now. Take a lot of pride in that highlighter, like Digger Phelps, but nah, it's up here. Oh, what do we got?
We're gonna watch the highlight of Beto's save. See, Steve, I remember when two heavyweights fought for the first time. I think it was Oleg Moskaev against Hassan Rahman. Moskaev knocked him out of the ring. Now, our play-by-play guy caught the fallen fighter. HBO's play-by-play guy, Jim Lampley, just kind of watched him slide. But he was great with the call. It was like, Hassan Rahman has hit the ground right beside me.
Representing Russia. Make some noise for Peter.
Gigi, yep. See, and the thing is,
that says it all.
Because Vernon Alston was able to get up right away under his own power, walk off of the ring, we're able to talk about this right now. But it was an impressive knockout by Gennaro Gomez as our main event fighter making their way. WBA lightweight title eliminator. Steve, what exactly does that mean?
That means the winner of this fight will be guaranteed a shot of the winner between the rematch that'll take place next spring between Jorge Linares, who won the title last week, and Anthony Corolla.
I got to tell you what, Petrov already wins points with Doug Fischer entering to
Metallica.
For whom the bell tolls.
You're a rock guy, Dougie?
Metal guy. This is classic metal. This is, I mean, listen, you don't have to be a metal fan to be into Metallica.
Steve's over here dropping Pointer Sisters. You're dropping Metallica.
So what does that say?
We are eclectic. We are eclectic here on Ring TV, Duran.
For whom the bells toll.
Man, we're our own boxing Pandora.
And this is Petrov's last fight against
Marvin Quintero.
And it was a shootout. It was Petrov's right hand versus Quintero's left cross. And it was Petrov doing the more severe damage, earning a stoppage because of the condition of Quintero's eye. And you could see it. You see his left eye right there. It's completely closed. And that's how he won that fight. And that's why he's in position tonight. As Michael Perez enters the ring.
The artist, Michael Perez, coming in, Newark, New Jersey.
You see the regional belts that he brings into the ring, and both of these guys have won the regional titles, the North American titles, the NABA, the NABO. They've been ready for a long time to step up to this world-class level.
And Doug, you mentioned this earlier. It was about 4 years ago that he was overrun by Omar Figueroa. And then later on, in a fight against Fidel Maldonado in this very same venue, he fell apart late physically. This event center here at Fantasy Springs has been a little bit of a house of horrors for that man, Mikey Perez.
Yeah, he hung on for the win. It was a split decision win against Fidel Maldonado. Maybe a gut check. Maybe that was good for him to have those hard 10 rounds. And he had a string of 10-round decision victories that I think might serve him well if this fight goes the full 12.
Michael Perez, you see Golden Boy president Eric Gomez in the black shirt. Robert Garcia, his trainer.
Whispering last words of wisdom. Garcia, somebody, a trainer who has been here before, a fighter, a former fighter who fought for a world title and won a world title at junior lightweight. So he knows exactly what Perez is going through, what's going through his mind, what's in his heart.
I spoke to Perez a little bit. I wrote a feature on this fight for UCL Live. It's clear they're going to try to box Petrov. They believe Petrov is a strong bull, and tonight that man's going to try to be more or less the matador.
I think that's smart. If you see these highlights from his last fight against Martin Honorio, you look at that cut, and I think eye lacerations, cuts from accidental headbutts, maybe sometimes some legal punches. That's been his Achilles heel, so I think it behooves him to keep his distance, not make it too rough.
Damas y caballeros, este es el combate estelar de esta noche. Pactada a 12 rounds en un combate eliminatorio por el Campeonato Mundial de la AMB de los Pesos Ligeros. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's about to go down with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA lightweight title eliminator. Sanctioned by the WBA president, sancionado por la AMB, el presidente Gilberto Mendoza. Supervisor in attendance, el supervisor Miguel Prado. Also sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Commissioner John Carvelli, Executive Officer Andy Foster, Timekeeper Mike Millsap. Your three judges scoring, sus tres jueces, Alejandro Rochin, Max De Luca y Zachary Young. Y el tercero en la superficie, the third man inside the ring, Eddie Hernández. Ahora bien, amigos aficionados del boxeo que nos siguen a través de la señal de Estrella TV y los presentes en el Fantasy Springs Resort Casino en Indio, California, Estados Unidos, estamos en vivo. We are live from Indio, California, USA. Ajusten sus cinturones. Introducing to you first, the fighter standing in the red corner, wearing camouflage trunks. His official weight, 135 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina roja, acompañado del entrenador internacional Robert García. Y sus shorts son camuflaje con color negro, con un peso de 135 libras. Professionally, he stands with 24 victories, 1 loss, 2 draws, and 11 of those victories coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 24 victorias, 1 derrota, 2 empates y 11 victorias por la vía del knockout. Boricua de pura cepa, de Newark, New Jersey, Michael, the Artist Perez. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the blue corner, wearing red trunks with black and gold. His official weight, 134 pounds. Y su oponente peleando en la esquina azul, vistiendo calzoncillo rojo con negro y dorado, con un peso de 134 libras. Professionally, he holds 37 victories against 4 losses, 2 draws, and 17 of those victories coming by the way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 37 victorias, 4 derrotas, 2 empates y 17 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. De Ryazan, Rusia, Dami y Gaspada, Pajalosta, Dobro, Pajalovic. Aquí está Peter El Zar Petrov. Y para dar las instrucciones finales, el referee Eddie Hernández.
Mouthpiece. Shoot up. All right, gentlemen. I've been over the rules with you both, and you know what I expect. Touch gloves. Good luck.
And the tail of the tape for our main event tonight, Perez Petrov.
Michael Perez is 7 years younger. He is 3 inches taller, and he has a slight reach advantage.
This one will be 12 rounds in the lightweight division. Get ready to go. Sold out Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino in Indio, California. That was wrong. Underway. Michael, the Artist Perez, Michelangelo's name, in the camouflage. Peter Zar Petrov lived in Madrid, Spain when his parents moved there when he was 12 years old. Now living in Southern California. Petrov's the guy, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, he's the one who came on a couple years ago because he won that Boxino, right?
Yes, and it's interesting, he actually speaks fluent Spanish.
Makes it like a Spaniard. Good Vos in there.
The Boxino tournament was basically his comeback from a decision loss to Dejan Zlatikanin,
Yes.
Who is now the WBC lightweight title holder. And no shame in losing to Dejan. Excellent lightweight. Probably consensus ranked in the top 3 in the world.
He's in the red trunks. Michael Perez, Newark, New Jersey, Puerto Rican blood. Won some regional belts. He's a fighter. A couple years ago, just said, that's it, I'm leaving my comfort zone. And he moved with Robert Garcia. Everything about him was comfort. New York, New Jersey. Had some fights in Puerto Rico, trained in Puerto Rico. Never could really find that, and he said, that's it, I'm moving. Liked Robert Garcia's attitude, the way he was approaching things. Moved his camp to Southern California. Now he's the older statesman of that house with a bunch of younger fighters who are 18 and 19. They look up, you're right, they look up to him. He leads by example there.
You know you have a young stable when the old man is 26
Yeah.
years old.
Exactly.
That's a young group of boxers.
Yeah, they get out, run everywhere together, do Santa Monica Stairs on Saturdays. They're living and training in Riverside. An interesting matchup. See, I remember reading your piece this week on UCN, and the way you set it up, this is easily a toss-up fight.
It is. I don't think there's any doubt about it. You ask 10 boxing insiders, I don't think it'd be any wider than 6-4. I do get the sense most people think that it is Peter Petrov whose physical strength might be the edge in this matchup.
Yeah, they like his physical strength, they like his durability, they like his last couple of performances, and I think a lot of them just like his maturity and experience. I mean, he's got 43 professional bouts. And he's on a nice little 5-0 run. You see, he's not just about brute strength in there. He's got craft, and he's very sneaky. Both guys. This is a really interesting first round because both guys have had their moments. Neither guy is in a rush. They're taking this round to take each other's measure, trying to figure out which each guy is bringing to this dance.
But it does seem like Petrov is now finding sneaky ways to land that right hand. I think he's landed the more significant punches here in the first 3 minutes.
Final seconds of the opening round. It is scheduled for 12, an eliminator in the lightweight division. Indio, California is where we are tonight. Home away from home for Golden Boy Promotions. Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino does a great job taking care of us. Usually here once a month. And look at the bio, the sweet graphics for Michael the Artist Perez. Newark, New Jersey.
The NABO lightweight title, also one of the WBA's minor titles. In 2008, he was the National Golden Gloves lightweight champion, so he was an accomplished amateur, and he's now ranked number 3 in the WBA. Of course, Petrov, 33 years old, from Russia, but has been in Spain, fought 35 times in Spain. His recent fights have been here in the United States, and he has won his share of regional and North American titles, the NABF and the NABA. And he's ranked number 4 in the WBA.
Yeah, Petrov made his U.S. debut in 2014. Hasn't left since then. Spain, Portugal, Germany, Argentina, Montenegro.
That's a well-traveled veteran fighter.
And Indio, that's where he's at tonight, taking on Michael Perez. Perez, both of his fights on the East Coast early on in his career. The last 2 have been in California. Last time was here against Martin Honorio. Good right hand landed by Petrov. Another good right hand by Petrov.
Petrov was looking for that right hand in the first round. He landed it a few times, and I think he's figured out how to deliver it and how to land it. Now he lands with authority.
Petrov, the older fighter, 33.
Oh, there's a cut.
There's a
I see
cut. There
blood
is.
on the upper right forehead of Petrov.
Yeah. Was that from a clash?
I think it was from a clash of heads. And there's a cut.
Perez's
yeah,
cut
also
too.
Perez on his right. Oh, gosh, that right eye.
Oh, good right hand landed by
Hand
Petrov.
on the temple.
Oh, and down goes Perez. Good right hands, all fight from Petrov. That one caught him, and Perez went down, and Perez is poking at that right eye that is cut. He's had tendency to get cut in his career. Petrov drops him here in the second. Left hand from Petrov. The Russian, Elzar. Bouncing on his toes. Good left from Petrov. Uppercut Petrov.
Petrov is doing a lot of damage, and I'm not sure that Perez has recovered from that initial overhand right to his temple and the follow-up right that put him down.
30 seconds to go in the second round. Peter Petrov coming in strong. Left. Another left. Perez, I don't know if he ever got his legs back with 15 seconds to go in the second round. There was that earlier clash of heads. Both fighters were cut. Petrov jumped on and landed the bigger right. And Perez poking at that right eyebrow.
He needs to refrain from doing that. He can make it worse. But I think he's wiping blood out of his eye. He needs to be able to see in order to protect himself. He's got to get out of this round. He's got a very good cut man in his corner, but Mike Rodriguez has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, Mike is in Petrov's corner. Robert Garcia.
In Petrov's corner.
Yeah. Robert Garcia is working as a cut man.
I'm sorry. Robert Garcia has his work cut out for him.
Final seconds. I think they were. Uppercut from Petrov. Petrov did whatever he wants in this round.
Yeah, landing lead power shots from the outside. Uppercuts, left hooks, right crosses. A lot of damage on the face of Michael Perez.
10 seconds to go.
Good body shot.
Oh, a body shot landed by Petrov.
I may have spoken too soon.
Final seconds of the round. Another good shot landed by Petrov.
Beto, I think that was a left hook to the body that folded Perez, and it was a right hand over the top that really buzzed him. That was a huge round for Peter Petrov.
And there you see Mike Rodriguez, the boxing the crime-fighting cut man. He's a homicide detective.
Yeah.
Look, Mikey.
And Michael Perez.
This next round, I want you to work on your defense. Okay? Hold them. Make them miss. All right? Don't exchange punches. Recover. All right? I need one more round to recover. All right? Just use it to move around. Okay?
Close eye. I need to recover this round, right?
Move around, all right? Move around, hold, make them miss, and hold, all right? You gonna do that?
Get some water, Mike.
Are you gonna do that for us?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Petrov lands an overhand right, landed on the temple, wobbled Perez, followed up with a right to the jaw, sent Perez down. The left to the body, and that froze Perez momentarily, Steve. Follows up with a right cross. This is towards the end of the round. He had Perez in a lot of trouble.
And I think some very sound advice by trainer Robert Garcia. They want to play a bit of keep away in some four corners. They want to take a round or two to just kind of regain their bearings and get Perez's legs back. But Petrov seems to be coming on very, very quickly here.
And Petrov jumping on it right away. That blood from the right eyebrow of Perez flowing. Uppercut landed by Petrov. A lot of fans in Pomona does Petrov have. They're sending the tweets. Lives in Santa Fe Springs, California now. Body work upstairs. Did Michael Perez hear his trainer?
Yeah, because Garcia said tie him up when he gets in close. He's not doing that.
The Achilles heel of Michael Perez has always been the punch resistance and durability, and it's reared its ugly head. You know, when he faced Honorio,
Oh, big left. That hurt Perez.
Right on
How
the
is he still standing on that one?
Oh, but the eye is spilling blood right now.
Oh.
It's squirting out.
Perez, mouth wide open. Petrov loading up on shots. Elzar is looking good here early in the fight. Body work. Perez doing the opposite of what his corner told him to do. He's trying to gut it out here in the third round.
Well, it's like Perez heard Garcia say, work on your defense, and he took that as to mean no offense. That's not what Garcia meant. Garcia meant tie him up, move if you can move, but don't just stand there and take shots.
Well, guys,
you got to fire back if nothing else. There, finally he holds.
But Doug, in all fairness, I think Petrov is just overwhelming Perez with some really quick pressure and being much quicker than Martin Onario is. Listen, you can give all the advice in the world, but if your fighter does not have his bearings or his legs underneath them, it really doesn't matter what you tell him at this stage.
Yeah, we can't minimize the work that Petrov is doing. I mean, there's a lot of steam on this guy's punches right now, and it's a very nice selection of power shots.
Petrov snapping that jab also.
That's the thing. When he faced Onario, he faced a really slow guy that came at him at the same pacing and rhythm. Petrov has really good quickness this afternoon.
And that Onario fight on the eve of Canelo and Khan, that was one where I saw Quintero, Marvin Quintero, was cut, and Petrov jumped on it, took advantage of opportunities.
That's exactly what a fighter's supposed to do. But you see his arsenal is varied. I mean, he's got body shots, he's got uppercuts, he can lead with power shots. Sometimes he'll be in the southpaw position as he works his way inside. Now he's back to orthodox. He's not easy to figure out. He's not a one-dimensional slugger, as some people have categorized him. He is tough, he is a grinder, but there's a lot of intelligence that comes from that experience that he has.
Final seconds of the round. All Peter Petrov early tonight in Indio, California, loading up on his shots, landing them, and that'll do it for 3. Don't stop believing is jamming right now. Is that what they're telling Perez as we're heading to the 4th?
Pero estás entrando sin movimiento en la cabeza.
Right here at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino, Oscar de la Hoya Golden Boy Boxing here, November 18th.
Sigue con el jab, moviendo la cabeza, círculo, no te entres enfrente de él, ¿ok? Moviendo los lados.
Out of the Fantasy Springs Resort Casino, head on over to the Fantasy Springs Resort Casino box office and purchase your tickets for Henry Nakano. November 18th, right here, Fantasy Springs Resort Casino.
Petrov was on the attack for the entire duration of round 3. Perez was trying to minimize the damage and simply was not able to. Petrov working his way in. There was a nice short right cross landed by Perez in retreat, but you see the blood dripping from that right eye.
And Eddie Hernandez sending Perez over to the doctor on our notes in front of us. Look at this, guys. There's blood all over our notes right here. As there was a clash of heads in the second round. Doctor says we will continue. Robert Garcia is working as cutman and trainer for Michael Perez as we go to the fourth. Peter Petrov. Elzar looking good, calling Southern California home. Petrov's body just looks chiseled also. More work, keeps on coming. Going to the block, attacking, uppercut, doing good. This is a Petrov that looks more fluid and better than he was in the last fight against Marvin Quintero.
No, he also looks quicker. I would say at this stage, Beto, and obviously all 3 rounds early have gone against Michael Perez. I think he's going to have to land something big, almost a Hail Mary punch to really stem the momentum of Petrov, who's just coming on like a locomotive.
He is punching back here in round 4, and that's something he wasn't doing in rounds 2 and 3.
There you see Elzar on the side of the trunks of Peter Petrov. Also true boxing heads, has the sponsors behind him. Only the United States in a few years got the sponsorship down. There's Peter Petrov. Elzar, born in Ryazan, Russia. Lived in Madrid at the age of 12 with his parents moving there for business. Dropped Perez in the second. After that clash of heads, landing some heavy shots. He's going for that uppercut, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's landing it from mid-range too. He's leading with the uppercut, which you're usually not supposed to do. It leaves you vulnerable, but he's able to get away with it because Michael Perez's vision is hampered.
Yeah, Sedona 90377 watching tonight. Appreciate you. Everybody on the Twitter timeline is just impressed with the way that Peter Petrov is looking right now.
He's dishing out a lot of damage in just a few rounds as he gets a different angle to get off at.
And he's attacking the body here in this round.
And he's not just squaring up in front of Perez and grinding it out that way. He's switching his foot placement and attacking from different angles.
Good uppercut from Perez.
Nice right from Perez. He needs more like that.
Here comes Petrov. Interesting to see how that cut on the right eye of Perez is going to affect him later on.
Doug, he's landing punches here and there, Perez, that are very clean, but I think he's going to need a fight-changing punch to really turn this fight. It's all going one way. And I tell you, Petrov is just relentless with this pressure.
There's not much power behind Perez's shots.
Well, it's been punched out of him, Beto. Let's just be very honest. I mean, I don't think his legs have been underneath him since that second round knockdown.
Right, his equilibrium was affected before he actually hit the deck in that second round. And we got to take into consideration the body attack from Petrov. That's going to take a lot of steam off your shots.
You know what? I give Perez credit. I don't think he's won this round, but he's been very game here in the fourth.
He's a gutsy fighter.
Slick Rick jamming. 5th round coming up. And that's the corner of Michael Perez.
You're taking too much, Mikey. I don't want to see you get hurt, Migo. I think it's too much. Me personally, I think it's too much. Okay? I think it's too much, Migo. Huh? I don't want to see you get hurt. All right?
Last round needs to be the way you finished it. It's got to be the way you finished it.
The way you finished. That's the only. I'm gonna give you this round, all right? Te voy a dar este round.
Got to be exactly like that.
Quiero que te cierres and just go throw your hard punches, but keep your chin down and bend your knees and back him up, back him up. This one round, that's all I'm gonna give you, all right? Okay?
Give this round, Mike. I'm gonna give you this round.
Robert Garcia trying to stop the fight. Michael Perez talked himself into one more.
Well, this is why we're seeing highlights from round 4, and you see the uppercuts and the damage these uppercuts are doing to Michael Perez's face. We're also seeing the body work from Petrov, which has been good throughout the fight.
And Beto, as you alluded to, I think Robert Garcia wanted to halt the action, throw in the towel. I think Mike Perez has 3 minutes here to change the mind of his trainer.
I don't think he's going to get 3 minutes. I think Robert is going to pay attention quickly because the way that Petrov had just come out right away, jumping on him. Robert's going to be quick to protect his young 26-year-old fighter. And Perez still looks like he has that glazed eye effect.
And we had a competitive feel-out opening round, but Petrov felt what he felt, saw what he saw, and jumped on Perez at the start of round 2, and it's been all Petrov since.
Also, Perez's dad in the corner with Robert Garcia.
Doug, I think we have identical scorecards of 40 to 35, and I think Robert, being an honest guy, I think he must have the same scorecard. I think certainly that will paint a certain perspective as a trainer whether to allow this to go on too much further.
Yeah, Garcia's not scoring rounds. He's just looking at the cumulative damage on his fighter's face, and he knows from being a fighter himself the damage that body shots do.
And that's the danger of facing a hard-charging grinder like Petrov. He may not erase you with one punch, but he will just consistently erode you round after round with really a selection of hard punches to the head and body.
Don Jose Vitela, the man from Durango in Monterey Park, said this isn't going 12. That's his message. I think Peter Petrov trying to listen to him. Petrov just relentless.
Well, and you see the underrated footwork when he's in close. He never just stands in front of Michael Perez. He gets off with heavy shots to the body and head, and then takes a step to the right or to the left and gets off again.
Is that where that rope work comes in, Steve, where the guys are doing the back and forth, the body work?
You know, a lot of that is the upper body movement, but a lot of this you have to be trained and drilled into as your trainer overlooks. You could do that with the heavy bag. You could do that with the big circular pad. Oh, and he got caught right there.
Perez showing some heart. Lands a big shot, a minute to go in the 5th. Jab from Perez. Starting to show some life in those legs now. Here's Michael-Angelo Perez.
I got to give Perez a lot of credit. Just looking at him, he's doing everything he can not to drown in there.
He's trying to tread.
No, he is. I mean, listen, right now he's like that guy who's 50 yards from shore who's really engulfed. And the question is, will he be pushed to the bottom? He actually landed a good right hand there on Petrov.
Petrov's movement is impressive.
No, it's perpetual motion. It really is.
10 seconds to go in the 5th round. Scheduled for 12. A bloody Michael Perez down in the 2nd. Getting worked here by Peter Petrov in an eliminator in the WBA lightweight division. Roll.
Remember, all the way. Okay.
Hey guys, don't let me get involved. Put the hitting behind the head, okay?
He's doing it.
They're holding
Okay. Ahorita cuando empiece el round, un golpe. ¿No yo?
When the round starts, one body shot.
Fuerte.
Hard.
Cuando empiece el round, fuerte. Okay?
When the round starts, strong.
No le haces que te quiten un punto. Okay? He got tired, Mike se vació. Ya no tiene nada, Mike. Ya no tiene nada. No, yo, Mike. He gave it all the first couple rounds.
He's tired. He gave it all early on the fight.
Perez landing a right to the body. But Petrov coming back with both hands to the body as they grapple, lock arms on the inside. Petrov with the short uppercut on the inside. Got clipped with the right cross and Perez. So Perez did well enough to convince Robert Garcia to keep him in the fight. Let's see what happens here.
Sixth round, scheduled for 12. Body low blow, Michael Perez.
And Garcia wanted him to go hard to the body early in this round, but
could that have been intentional? Could that have been intentional by some time?
You know, I remember a fight between Fernando Vargas and Felix Trinidad when Vargas seemed to have all the momentum and a punch straight low. Things like that, Beto, absolutely can be very, very strategic.
There's a lot on the line right now. Eliminator, the winner goes and gets a shot at the world title. You're desperate.
I'll tell you what, Petrov recovered very fast. He didn't get much of a reprieve if that was intentional.
Not that it was, I'm just saying.
No, it's, hey, listen, it's possible, but.
Good exchange between the two. More blood coming down the right eye of Perez. That was cut early in the 2nd. Uppercut from Petrov. He's in the red. The Russian Spaniard. Right hand. Double right. Perez looks tired.
These punches have taken a lot out of him. Petrov's one of these guys. He's not fast. He's not fast, and his punches don't appear that crisp, but they're heavy. He's just got one of these guys who's a methodical guy who does a lot of damage.
It's like throwing in volume also.
Yeah.
Body work, good.
That was a hard left to the body.
Right from Petrov. Standing in the middle.
I like that here and there Perez is trying to go to Petrov's body, but he's just being soundly outworked round after round.
Well, Perez's game, he's gutsy, but quite frankly, it looks like he's outgunned.
Is this a step up in competition for Perez?
Well, if you look at the history of Perez, and again, all of this has happened here in Fantasy Springs. He was overrun by the physicality of Figueroa, fell apart late against Fidel Maldonado. This was the big question, was his durability against a hard man like Petrov. And I got to tell you, looking at Garcia, he looks very concerned. If it's in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, he probably hasn't won a round. Things aren't getting any better. And you're facing a hard-charging guy. You may want to start thinking about pulling out that towel.
He was trying to do it 2 rounds ago. Right from Perez, answered by 2 from Petrov. Final seconds of the round. It's been all Peter Petrov tonight in Indio. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Lil Maná is jamming. Oye mi amor. That's the song that gets every person all fired up. This song right here, guys, when you play like at a Mexican wedding or quinceañera or backyard party, every girl starts dancing, and the guys are like, yeah, I guess I'll go too.
That's it, guys.
And it is over. The fight is over. Robert Garcia has stopped it. Protect his young fighter.
Yeah, good stoppage, good decision by Robert Garcia. And it lets me know that Robert Garcia is growing as a trainer. He received a lot of criticism 6 years ago in Texas, in Arlington, Texas, by allowing Antonio Margarito to go 12 against Manny Pacquiao.
You know, that's the toughest decision, to not allow a fighter to get beat twice. Once for that night and once for the rest of his career. I think that stoppage is very prudent. It allows Mike Perez to fight another day.
And Perez argued with Robert at the end, shook hands with his trainer. Now the 2 fighters are shaking hands in the middle of the ring. It was a good scrap. Went at it. I came away really impressed with how Peter Petrov looked. Elzar is taking a step up.
He looked better tonight than he did in May
he did.
against Marvin Quintero.
Yes, he did.
We saw a lot more wrinkles to his game.
Doug, whoever wins that rematch between Jorge Linares and Corolla, they got a tough customer awaiting him in this man, Peter Petrov.
And we're going to see, these highlights are going to tell us why. You'll see right there, he keeps grounding. This was round 6, the final round of the bout. And you see, even when Perez blocks like an uppercut, there's a left hook to the body following it. He's always putting his punches together, Petrov is. And they're all heavy shots.
If you look at this division, guys, your champions are Linares, Robert Easter, Dejan Zlatikanen, Terry Flanagan. Then you have contenders like Denis Shafikov, Juan Diaz, Ray Beltran, Jose Felix, and Verdejo.
Mikey Garcia is in that mix. The lightweight division is very deep. It's varied. It's a hot weight class in boxing right now.
And there you see him talking with Golden Boy president Eric Gomez. Frustrating night for Michael Perez, but his trainer, Robert Garcia, as you mentioned, growing as a trainer. And this is somebody who's in his house every single day, knows him. Tried to stop the fight a couple rounds ago. Perez talked himself into more time, but at the end of the day, he just avoided the inevitable.
It's a hard position for the trainer to be in because he's right there sacrificing with this fighter. He knows how long and how hard Michael Perez has worked since suffering the first loss of his career 4.5 years ago. I mean, unbeaten over his last 10 bouts. He doesn't want to stop it, but he also cares about him as a fighter and as a human being.
Well, also, in like 27, 28 fights, Michael Perez only has 11 knockouts, so he doesn't have that proverbial eraser. And I think, again, that's a variable that you have to factor into. Is my guy a Julian Jackson type of puncher that can make up for a lot of mistakes? Petrov has only been stopped by one guy, a very heavy-handed Marcos Maidana, I believe at 140-something.
Yes.
So I did not see this thing changing anytime soon. I think Robert Garcia made the tough decision, but the only one that really needed to be made.
You're right. He's only been stopped once. That was with Marco Maidana in 2011. The other losses, most recent, Dejan
Tikkanen.
And then before that, early on in his career. So
Right.
it's not like he's also a fighter who's going to get caught by standing there
Yeah.
doing something dumb. And it looked like Petrov was getting stronger as the.
He's all about conditioning. You know, he is. He's a grinder, but when we say grinder, don't mistake grinder for
A lack of
one-dimensional.
skill, yeah.
Right, or flat-footed. He's actually got pretty decent footwork. He's not nimble in there. He's not Jorge Linares.
You know,
but he's a very dangerous, legitimate lightweight contender, and he's dangerous for Linares if Linares wins that rematch for Carolla, because even though Linares is a full level above Michael Perez, he has the same Achilles heels.
Roja abandona la pelea al final del round número 6 by the red corner stoppage at the end of round number 6. Your winner by the way of knockout, su ganador por la vía del knockout y avanzando por el campeonato mundial de peso ligero de la AMB, Peter El Zar Petrov.
El Zar, no que no tronabas, there he is, gets the job done. Madrid, Spain, Ryazan, Russia, Southern California. Peter Petrov gets the victory tonight.
As we hear Metallica, the classic heavy metal, and Petrov looks like he's made out of heavy metal.
He is sculpted out of steel.
Really?
Petrov's promoter is a gentleman by the name of Ari Palulo. Now, he is the one who came up with the Boxino format, and the biggest star that Boxino's ever produced was Acelino Copo Friatis. But this tournament here throughout the years has consistently provided a springboard. Willie Monroe won the middleweight tournament a couple of years ago.
And now he's a player in the middleweight division.
Basically got a fight with Golovkin, and I think Petrov is the next guy from that Boxino format. Looks like he's going to get a very, very significant opportunity very soon.
7 fights in the books. It was a good night of boxing in Indio, California. Basti Samir started it off, unanimous decision. Jonathan Navarro, decision. Then the knockouts came. Javier Padilla, Indio, California, second round stoppage. Luis Coria, second round. Alexis Rocha, first round. Genaro Gomez, first round. And Peter Petrov with a TKO in the 6th round. We'll be back in Indio November 18th. The next Golden Boy production on Ring TV will be next Friday at the Belasco Theater. Make sure you get the tickets. Always sells out. And then November 7th will also be at the Belasco Theater. Tino Avila. And as always, do appreciate all the tweets from everybody on Ring TV. I think we're going to talk to Petrov, but we're going to find that out. We'll be back with more. You're watching Ring TV, production of Golden Boy Promotions in Indio, California. Here now, Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. Good night of action as El Zar, Peter Petrov, is making his way over after shaking hands, talking to the promoters. Aquí siéntate, viejo. Aquí está una toalla. Aquí quieres. We got everything for you, baby. Tenemos todo. Lo que necesitas, aquí tenemos. As El Zar, Peter Petrov, sitting down. Luis, stage managing deluxe, is getting in here. We're going to fix that microphone. Ahí está la cámara si quieres mirar.
Hola, amigo.
Todo. Mira. Ok, ¿qué pasó en esta pelea? Saliste muy fuerte. You came out really strong in this fight. ¿Ese era el intento? Was that the intention?
Sí, he confiado en mi campamento. Hemos hecho un gran trabajo con mi entrenador y manager, Denis Zamora. Y hemos contratado un nuevo coach, physical coach, Jerry Arias. Y gracias a ellos he venido al 200% físicamente. Y tenía que salir desde el primer round hasta el round número 15 o 20 y sacar golpes. Y estaba preparado, estaba confiado en mi trabajo y así lo hemos hecho. Sabíamos que él iba a abandonar, que no iba a aguantar mi ritmo y así pasó.
Said a lot there, so I'm going to try to get you there with that Spanish accent. He hired a conditioning coach for this one, and he was prepared to go 1 through 15 rounds, and they knew that Perez wasn't going to be able to stay with him. ¿Sabías que no iba a aguantar toda la pelea? You knew
Sí,
he wasn't
ese era
going
el
to.
plan. Sabíamos que no iba a aguantar esa pelea porque él es un gran boxeador, pero le he visto sus peleas y nunca le he visto con un boxeador como yo, que esté pegando los 3 minutos de cada round.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. I've seen his fights, but he's never been one that has gone the full distance, and he's never gone up against somebody who has my strength. And ahora tienes una oportunidad de pelear contra Jorge Linares. ¿Cómo te sientes con eso?
Sí, la verdad es un orgullo para mí. Yo siempre he seguido la carrera de Jorge Linares y siempre he dicho que es el mejor boxeador en peso ligero. Cuando él estaba en 130 libras, yo boxeaba a 130 libras y quería esa pelea, pero nunca salió. Y ahora tenemos la oportunidad, gracias a esta pelea, gracias a WBA por esta eliminatoria, gracias a mis promotores por conseguir esta eliminatoria y tenemos esa oportunidad. Ojalá, espero que es un gran campeón y espero que me dé esa ansiosa pelea por el título mundial.
I've always followed Jorge Linares' career. I always thought he was one of the best at 130. And when he was fighting 130, I always wanted that fight. It never happened. And thank you everybody that now there's an opportunity to fight against Jorge Linares. Última pregunta. Last question. How do you feel right now? ¿Cómo te sientes?
I feel so happy.
Oh, wait. You speak English?
Nah, a little bit.
Oh, man.
I had,
No. They told me no
I
English.
had a great
You lied to me.
training camp with my trainer, and I'm so happy. We did it.
All right. Ahora traduce eso. Translate that.
Ya hemos hecho un gran trabajo con mi entrenador, confiaba en mi victoria y lo hemos hecho, lo hemos logrado. Gracias a todo mi equipo, sin ellos no es posible. Y gracias a mi mujer, a mis patrocinadores, gracias a todos. Gracias a España, Rusia, Россия для вас.
¿Sabes qué?
Братан и для вас.
Друг?
Друзья, для вас.
Robot Chai.
Viva México, cabrones.
El Zar, Peter Petrov, le ganó a Michael Perez. That's probably one of my best interviews.
Un abrazo a puertorriqueños que son una gran gente, gran aficionada al boxeo.
Pues
Argentinos,
felicidades.
todos. Gracias.
El Zar, Peter Petrov, habla todos los idiomas. He speaks way too many languages. We'll be back with more English only in Indio, California.
Thank you.
That's next week on Ring TV Live. There you see Peter Petrov getting checked out by the doctors, as is normal for every fighter after a fight. There you see Petrov, 38-4-2, and he was saying afterwards that he really wants that Linares fight. Wanted it at 130. Now he's really excited to get after it. Navarro, 20 years old, 6-0, 5 KOs from East Los Angeles, California. His opponent, Farkhad Sharipov, 32 years old. Navarro, Doug, you know his entire family. You've seen him since he was basically a toddler in the gym. He comes from a fighting family in East LA.
Yeah, I was training with one of his uncles, Nacho Navarro, when he was born 20 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
And of course, he has other uncles. Jose Navarro was a top contender and a world title challenger at junior bantamweight, and Carlos Navarro was a junior bantamweight, featherweight fringe contender, and an incredible U.S. amateur.
Farkhad Sharipov. And then you see the Navarro family looking on. You don't have to stream that with your phone. We got Ring TV for you, baby. And you'll get the replay tomorrow. Actually, later on the night, the crack staff from Ring TV puts it up immediately. Go to the Golden Boy YouTube page to see archive fights of all of Navarro's 6 fights have been on Golden Boy. All of his fights have been at the Belasco, and one was at StubHub. This is the first time he's at Fantasy Springs. Had a lot of friends and family in attendance. His opponent, Farkhad Sharipov, 4-8, more of an MMA fighter. And he will switch southpaw to orthodox with ease. He is a fighter who came to the United States 10 years ago. Why? He said he looked on the map and Florida was nice. So that's how he ended up there. He's actually took this fight on Wednesday, last minute notice, because the original opponent for Navarro fell through. Razo found this guy, and I think Yusti tweeted about it, how they gave him a good matchup here.
Yeah, well, taking a look at this, pedestrian record, 4-8, lost 7 in a row, but it has to be noted, he's never been knocked out. For one thing he seems to be pretty crafty, switch hitting, and he seems to have durability. Some of the names on his resume, Kevin Watts, Raynell Williams, and Samaje Thomas. So he's been in there with some other prospects.
And he's pesky in there. He's a difficult opponent, in part because he's tough and he's game, but also, and Mario, you alluded to this, he's a switch hitter. He's got a very awkward, but also mobile boxing style.
You said never been knocked out, nor has he ever hit the canvas. He's never been down. But the reason that pedestrian record, he uses boxing to stay in shape. He's an MMA fighter, a jiu-jitsu black belt, more of a wrestler. He actually has an opportunity to win a MMA belt in a different league, Titan FC. It's in Miami. October 30th is his main event. He's the main event fighter in that. He's using today, as he said, a chance to come out and spar and take advantage and work on my craft, the striking part. So he's here. He's in shape. He's ready to go. And it's going to be an interesting night for Navarro.
Let him go.
Jonathan Navarro, 20 years old, East LA, where he was born and grew up. Now lives in Riverside at the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. It's essentially a dorm that they have there with Navarro, Joshua Franco. You have Hector Tanahara, Michael Perez, the main event, also lives there. These guys didn't go to college. That's where they're going. They're learning to get away from home. They're growing up on their own. Robert Garcia restocked his young stable. And he mentioned the fighters he's sparring against. Some of the most elite spot. When you go up against Mikey Garcia and you're sparring, that can't be replicated.
That's a learning experience, and Navarro realizes that he's very much a work in progress. Obviously, he's just 20 years old. And he's trying to work on, he's trying to improve fight by fight, and wants to show us different aspects of his game, different aspects of what he's learning in the gym with each bout.
You know, Navarro has 6 wins, 5 knockouts, so certainly early on he's shown some punching prowess. I get the sense early on this is going to be a bit of an experience for him. See how he can hold himself together fundamentally. This looks like a fight that's going to see the final bell. Sharipov has certainly perfected the art of survival. So let's see what Navarro can do in terms of staying fundamentally sound and being able to corral a very, very awkward opponent.
Also staying focused against somebody who can be frustrating. Because he's not just surviving, he's pesking in there. When you relax a little bit, that's when he tries to swat you with some punch from an odd angle.
And for young fighters, it's one thing when they say, okay, we're going to throw you up against the southpaw. That's how you prepare. This dude is switching after every single punch from southpaw to orthodox. That's got to be interesting. It's also going to see if he gets frustrated for Navarro. Thunder Navarro, you see across his belt, the nickname, yes, his favorite fighter, Arturo Thunder Gotti. The late, great Arturo Gotti. Referee Tony Krebs getting in there.
And Beto, there is a slight abrasion right around the left eye of Navarro. And I think, again, that's from some of the pesky work that's being done by Sharipov, who's very sneaky with his punches.
Sharipov said he's always been about the combat sports as a kid. Good body work landed by Navarro.
About Sharipov, I would certainly say that his attack is not paint by numbers. There's nothing really fundamental about it. It's not what you do textbook-wise. He just kind of makes it up as he goes along, and those can be the most difficult guys to look good against.
Can you learn anything from that, Steve?
Yes, learning how to adjust and adapt. This will be valuable experience. Will this be the type of fight for Navarro that he'll put on his highlight DVD? I don't think so, but hey, listen, you learn more in fights like this than first-round blowouts.
This is where broadcasters earn their money. You got to come with a lot of information, and you got to keep your eyes on what's going on. Good shot landed by Sharipov. Final seconds of the second round. Scheduled for 6.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about 1 minute away from your live VIP meet and greet with Iran the Blade Barkley, former middleweight.
There you see the co-main tonight. Renato Gomez from San Diego, also trained by Robert Garcia. He will be taking on Vernon Alston, a veteran out of North Carolina. Gomez going the more really high on this kid. Standout amateur. He's another one who's had fights come up, and all of a sudden the opponents just don't get on the plane. They don't show up.
He's intimidating. I mean, he's fought twice, but we haven't seen a collective 2 rounds from him yet. See if tonight's opponent can get out of the opening round.
Well, he's in the building, so that helps.
That does help.
Keep sending your tweet just like Mr. Boxing Guru is sending right now. Everybody out on Friday night. Veronica Villela in Monterey Park. Thank you for watching on your Roku. Third round scheduled for 6. Navarro in white and blue. Sharipov all black. Ran into him in the lobby today. Like, how do you say your name? He says Sharipov. So I'm trying my best.
Sharipov.
Speaks 4 different languages. English, Russian, and is native from Kyrgyzstan. He said there's another regional language that he speaks. Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia, along the Silk Road. Tian Shan Mountains surround it. Now calling Kissimmee, Florida. Spring training home for a lot of baseball teams home. Navarro swinging and missing with that uppercut. Robert Garcia, Navarro's trainer, has an interesting night. Not only does he have Navarro right now, but the co-feature is Renato Gomez, who we saw. Then the main event is Michael Perez.
Yeah, he's busy tonight.
Yeah, Robert's saying that it's a team effort. His son, Pita, will be involved doing the mitts while he's out here working the corner. His father, Robert's father, is actually in attendance tonight. He's going to help
Eduardo.
out. Yeah. Big G's going to help out with the. Also, Mikey Garcia's back there, so it's a family affair, helping everybody out.
Yeah, the family that really sparked boxing in Oxnard, California.
Robert,
2 or 3 decades ago. It started on the amateur level, and so many of these guys blossomed as pros. Robert Garcia and then Fernando Vargas, who was trained by his father.
How about this Robert schedule? I'm never complaining about driving. He lives in Riverside at a new facility, drives every morning to the 805, works those guys till about 11, 2-hour drive back to Riverside to work the fighters here around 1 o'clock, and keeps on going 5 days a week.
That's the work ethic that he got from his father. His father was, he worked in the strawberry fields in Oxnard, and he would work all day and then train all night at La Colonia Boxing Club in Oxnard. Yep. And his dad cultivated a future world champion and his own son, Robert, but also a U.S. Olympian and two-time junior middleweight champion, Fernando Vargas.
That's all being taught to Jonathan Navarro, the fighter in the white and blues. In with Farkhad Sharipov. 10 seconds to go in the third round. It's scheduled for 6th, second bout of the night. Golden Boy Promotions on the road in Indio, California at the Fancy Springs Resort Casino.
Fight fans, you want to save these dates? Mark these dates on your calendar for the real fight fans you do not want to miss. October 7th, Golden Boy Promotions at the Velasco Theater in downtown LA. November 4th, Golden Boy Promotions at the Velasco Theater in downtown LA. But on November 18th, right here at Fantasy Springs Casino, live on Estrella TV, Mauricio Maestro takes on Pablo Cesar Cano. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, we know Pablo Cesar Cano, Mauricio Herrera, they bring it. These are two fighters that are going to go to war right here inside of Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. So get your tickets before they sell out. Fantasy Springs Resort Casino box office. Herrera, Cano, here, November 18th, Fantasy Springs.
Sweet Child of Mine, DJ Ray with the tunes here at Indio, California. A favorite of Joel De La Hoya, manager, is watching tonight. Joel, of course, loves the 80s. As Steve Kim does.
Oh, so do I.
As you found out at the gym this morning, huh? They play the 80s just for you, Kimster.
Oh boy, when Buffalo Stance came on from Nana Cherry, boy, I hit that treadmill, I tell you. You know, this has to be a very frustrating experience for Navarro. You could almost see the gears grinding in his head, trying to find a way to hit this guy clean, and this guy simply does not allow himself to be a flat surface at any time with all the switch hitting he does, and he's very evasive, especially with his upper body.
Yeah, the upper body is moving all the time. His entire body is moving with his lateral movement. And as you said, the angles are always changed. There's never a flat surface. He's southpaw, he's orthodox, but he's always got his shoulder forward.
Navarro, 20 years old. 15 total pro rounds coming into this fight. Last 3 wins were by second round KO. Well, he's grinding it out tonight against Frank Sharipov, the crazy Russian with the nickname.
I see where he gets that nickname. He's got a crazy style. And this is the definition of unorthodox.
Sharipov walking around at the Fancy Springs. They have a lot of the displays of the fighters that have been here, and you see Oscar's face or some of the other fighters have been headlined here at the Special Event Center, and he was just enjoying it, taking pictures of those guys. He's just a fight fan.
Right. Speaking of which, the special guest of the venue this weekend was the Blade, Iran Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
Hard-hitting middleweight of the 80s and 90s. Always had the number of one Thomas Hitman Hearns.
Yep, shocked the world in his first fight with Tommy Hearns. I believe that was that 1988?
88 or 89.
89, yeah. Knocked him out in 3 rounds to earn the WBC middleweight title. And then some years later in the early 90s, they fought as light heavyweights. And he took Tommy Hearns' WBA light heavyweight title with the majority decision, I think.
Also involved in the fight of the year, I believe, in 88 or 89 against the great Roberto Duran in Atlantic City.
That's right, that was 89. That was Ring Magazine's fight of the year, and I could watch that fight every day for the rest of my life.
I actually did watch it every day because my brother recorded it on VHS, which is a tape which you kids will figure out. Just Google it. And it was on loop at home, and my brother showed it to me last night. That's the fight that just got me really into boxing. I was around 10 years old. I was like, wow, this is great.
That's a perfect fight to get into boxing because they had everything. They had the skill, the technique, and the heart, and the guts.
I got to go find my way to
both fighters.
The Blade.
Yeah.
I thought it was the only Barkley around was Charles Barkley. And I was like, no. Going to the 5th round, Navarro and Sharipov.
Well, right now is a great time to say happy birthday.
Our main event tonight, Michael Perez, Peter Petrov. eliminator. Who is Michael Perez? He's from Newark, New Jersey, Puerto Rican blood.
2008 National Golden Gloves lightweight champ. He was a good amateur, and he's a well-schooled pro.
And they're singing Las Mañanitas, which is the birthday song in Spanish to Ramiro, Golden Boy PR. It was his birthday a couple days ago.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Ramiro.
Gonzalez.
Former La Piñon rider, and here's some highlights from this fight.
And Navarro was able to...
That was bonus coverage with Jonathan Navarro and Frank Sharipov. Navarro went on to get the unanimous decision, hard-earned 6 rounds. He's now 7-0 with 5 KOs. Back inside the arena, they're starting to tear down the ring. 7 fights were held inside that ring, action-packed from the moment we stepped into Fantasy Springs. Beth Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim. Good night of boxing, fellas.
It started out great with Basti Samir coming off a 3-year layoff against a very game Ade Shabazz, who was coming off a 2-year layoff. And these guys knocked the rust off as they knocked each other around the ring.
After that, it was Jonathan Navarro, mentioned him, got the unanimous decision, 6 rounds against Sharipov. A learning experience for the 20-year-old Jonathan Navarro. It's not always going to be easy, especially against a guy who's a veteran at the age of 32 who's going to mix it up with you. Then after that, Javier Padillo, Indio, California, made his pro debut. He's 21 years old over Richard Morales. Went to the body early, stopped it in the 2nd round. Over 300 friends and family were in attendance to see Javier Padilla make his pro debut in the super bantamweight division. And look good after that. Luis Correa, who had over 500 people in attendance. 18-year-old, he's still a high school senior, had to take a couple days off. He had an impressive 2nd round KO over Noe Munoz. And Alexis Rocha, Santa Ana's own, 1st round stoppage, and he's coming into his own quickly at the age of 19.
He is a big welterweight prospect with a lot of power, but with each fight, we're seeing more of his technique evolve.
And Steve, Genaro Gomez, woo, biceps. And then the main event, it was Peter Petrov stopping Michael Perez as Perez's corner. Robert Garcia protected their fighter, kept them on after the 6th round. For our entire crew, Golden Boy Promotions, Media and Entertainment, Steve and Doug, I'm Beth Duran saying good night from Indio, California.